All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's crack into it.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's do this. Okay.
Compose yourself.
Yeah.
Compose yourself, people. Come on. Fuck's sake.
Hello and welcome to another amazing episode of Creative Appetite. I'm joined by my good friends, Maddie and
Edie. We're not good friends. That's the
I was
thing.
thinking about your Instagram name and I was like, wait a second.
I actually was going to let you go for it,
Thanks, saving me.
but I was like, let's make him suffer a little
Maddie
bit
and her
more.
friend.
Maddie and her
friends.
Maddie and her one friend that follows her around all the time. My name's Edie.
So it's not Erica. Why did
No.
I have Erica?
No, no, Erica.
It is Edie. What?
It is.
Mitch told me. Fucking hell.
Who's Mitch?
Mitch Morrison.
Oh my gosh.
He knows you somehow.
Potential candidate.
Oh, no, sorry.
Oh,
I think
potential candidate.
I feel like Mitch's partner knows who you are.
Not a potential candidate.
No.
Grab that.
Scrub that.
Scrap that.
Anyway, back to the intro. And these girls are from the Two Peas in a Pub pod, which is a podcast based on the Sunshine Coast where they talk absolute nonsense.
Yes.
And girls get around it, and I'm assuming guys get around it too. I don't know. I feel like everyone's getting around it, so why are you not getting around it?
Both of us looking at each other like, do they?
Do
Do you
I don't
guys
know.
get around it? I don't know.
We actually have had some pretty good feedback
Yep.
from the guys as well, which is quite interesting. Like I had a guy approach me the other day and say, sorry, I'm really bad.
So there's this thing, Maddie, you know, like
Called a microphone.
So in a podcast, basically what happens is you speak into that microphone.
I'm used to having this attached to the side of my head like this, so I don't have to do anything because it just comes with me everywhere I go. So I'm just, hang on, let me just strap this over my shoulder real quick. So guys, well, as I was saying, I don't need to unscrew it anymore. I can just strap it over the top because I'm just used to it being here. And then when I do turn and look at Edie, it comes with me.
So we don't get a lot done on our podcast because I spend 90% of the time wanting to slap Maddie in the face because, yeah.
Kicking each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we actually genuinely have had a couple guys come up and say that they really enjoy it. And I was stopped in a car park the other day as well, and they said the same thing. They said, actually, this was the most flattering thing I've ever had in my whole entire life. Because I was like, oh, hi, I'm Maddie. I was like introduced to him, and I was like, hi, I'm Maddie. He's like, oh, nice to meet you, Maddie, blah, blah, blah. Oh, wait, are you like Maddie from Two Peas in a Pub, Maddie? And I was like, oh my God, I've
Am
made
I?
it. Am I?
Am I ever down?
What do you need? Autographs?
Oh, mate, I was like, do you want me to kiss your baby? Because I will kiss your baby.
I'll sign your baby's forehead.
I did, and it was like the most flattering thing ever. I was like, oh my God, I'm being like referred to as our podcast now, which was just the best thing ever.
And it was a guy?
It was a guy.
Which is funny because I've had, I wouldn't say it's negative feedback, but I've had feedback from two guys.
Oh,
Oh,
have
shit,
you?
here we go.
And
You didn't tell me this.
no, and they both said,
Let's step aside real quick.
you're like, first of all, you're hanging out with guys. No, but both of them said it's a bit cringy. And I said, okay, in what way do you think it's cringy? And they're like, oh, you just say some stuff that I wouldn't say. And I was like, boom, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
We're out here because we like to tell some stories, and we kind of just want to say stuff that you wouldn't, really say. And so
Yeah.
I guess it is a little bit cringy in some sense.
But it's probably also cringy because this is like one thing that we did want to like really nail on the head is we feel like men's podcasts can come and talk about like, especially, we're going to hate on you right now. No, not at all. It's just, we just found like there was a gap in the market in terms of like women's podcasts always having to be about something. So they always had to be about like motherhood, lifestyle, fitness, yoga, like they had to be about money, like money saving hacks, or then there's pop culture is what I was trying to say when I went pop culture. Like it always has to be about something, and then men can come on and they can have their sporting ones where they literally just talk nothing but shit about sport and talk about beer. And so I feel like the stuff that the guys are saying that we do is cringy is probably exactly what they listen to in men's podcasts, and it's not cringy because it's coming from a guy.
What about this podcast?
Cringe.
But at the end of the day, we're not wanting it to be like a men versus women sort of thing. It's kind of like,
Which is just segregated.
which is exactly what
Here's
Matt's
the line.
done.
Here's the line.
Which Maddie's kind of look.
No, that's what Maddie has literally done, and I'm like, no.
Let me come back here.
Let me save this. It's not a men's versus women thing. It's, oh, well, we should all be able just talk shit and have a laugh and have a
Yeah.
drink with a friend and sort of tell your cringy, funny stories and everyone have a laugh at the end of the day.
Yeah. I wasn't fucking segregating us. I was saying that there's a gap in the market for women's podcasts not being about something in
And
general.
a gender pay gap.
Women are not paid enough. No.
Well, look, honestly, I don't think there's no rules anymore when it comes to media or like anything in general. Like, because there's so like the power of social media has kind of ruined everything across the board, from like music to podcasts or whatever. But it does seem to be that there is a running narrative at the moment where it's either you're just talking absolute nonsense about sport. Mind you, there's nothing wrong with talking shit about sport or whatever. But like in the current like top 10, I'd say a lot of them would be either shit talking or sport.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we're like, why can't we have the freedom to do the same thing?
Yeah.
Like, why is it just kind of always guys' podcasts that they're allowed to do that and it's funny and it's cool, and yet like when women do it, it's cringy.
I think it's because we also don't care.
Yeah,
We don't really care about our image, or we're not out here to really prove a point to anyone.
Yeah.
We kind of just don't care. So we're happy to
We genuinely just got drunk one night and decided that we were going to create a
just
podcast.
one night. I swear it was one night. We don't usually do that. We don't usually drink at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday.
No, it was
so it was just a one-time thing.
No, we did. Like, and obviously, like, Edie just was like, who's my most shit-talking friend?
You need to talk closer to this mic.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Or I think you should do what Edie's done.
And just
Take
hold
it
on.
off.
I don't want to say that she's done something pretty cool,
But I'm a trendsetter.
Because you both are moving so much, I feel like whoever's listening is just going to be like, God damn.
Okay.
And then see how she's kind of held. She's not dicking around with the.
See how I'm
you're holding
better
that
than everyone else here.
Oh, God, of course. Now it's going to go straight to her head.
It's just.
Fuck's sake.
Except don't hold it so like because you are so close. If you yell into that, it's gonna, like that.
Yeah.
Okay, but I feel like that would be much easier because then you just won't have to like
Lean back and forward. Yep. Okay.
I'm directing and controlling here.
Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, podcast, like the whole way you can make it big in these day and age is quite interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's happened too, because I do recall like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, podcasts seemed to be more informative and everyone was like, oh, we really like these self-help money things or whatever the hell it was. But now I feel like the Inspired Unemployed have kind of opened up this can of worms where they've just come out. I'm just using them as an example because I feel like
they are our muse.
Oh, they're brilliant.
right, and they just
yeah.
come out and just start talking absolute shit.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, oh my God, I can relate.
Yeah.
You know who actually, even before them, Hamish and Andy.
Yeah.
Hamish and Andy,
Andy.
I obviously grew up listening to them on the radio, and then they had their TV show, YouTube, Facebook, everything. I feel like they really paved the way for people like the Inspired Unemployed to be like, oh, well.
The comedic kind of relief on TV and stuff.
And just Australian comedy, like we were saying before, is just so different to
elite.
comedy all around the world. It's
Yeah.
elite.
It's elite.
It actually is elite.
It
I would
is
say
elite.
top tier Australian comedy. When people come here from other places, they're always talking about like our sarcasm and everything. They don't understand.
Yeah, we can be dry, but we can also appreciate other like I feel like British is kind of the same, whereas like
Yeah.
American might be a bit more dry, and like Australians can just accept it all.
We just literally take the piss.
everything.
Yeah, look, I mean, we were talking about the greatest TV show of all time.
Oh yeah,
I don't, actually,
Russell.
Russell quote, All Aussie Adventures.
Oh,
I feel,
the adventures. Time to hit the road.
you know, when I first saw that, I didn't know it was like they were taking the piss.
You thought it was
Yeah,
like actually
yeah.
genuine.
Like when I was younger, I was like, I remember watching it. My brother was like, "Oh, wait, check this out," and I was like, "Fuck, this is a sick camping show." I
Thought it was
"Why
a
is
documentary. Documentary series. Russell.
And then obviously, I don't know, maybe I was just stupid, but I just started noticing all the comedic parts of it. I'm like, oh yeah, I see what's going on. I was like, man, this is a really cool TV show.
He's so good.
So good, so naturally good too. Like just doesn't he have to? You know, they can just stand there, like they'll just sit there, and then you just look at them, you're like. Like
So fucking
because
funny.
their presence is hilarious.
Yeah.
They've got that. They're just so good at their job that you can just look at them and that's like Will Ferrell as well. Like I just feel like you look at Will Ferrell and
Or Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart and you just like
You don't like Kevin Hart?
I don't not like him. I feel like if I ever get him on the podcast, someone's going to run this back and they're going to be like, "You remember the fucking time you said you didn't like him?"
said
When
you
we
like
get him
Kevin
on the
Hart.
podcast.
I'm just going to make it very clear. I don't not like him. I do find him very funny. However, I feel like Actually, no. This is good. No. You know what?
You're digging a hole.
I retract my statement because let me finish, ladies. Let me finish. Because there's like when you find your groove, you kind of you start running the same narrative with your comedy stuff. Like Will Ferrell does the exact same thing. He's got this he's got this overtone of like kind of stupid but kind of witty.
Yeah.
And Kevin Hart has the same kind of thing. He uses a lot of facial expressions and
It's very loud.
yeah, and he's very loud. So after a while, I find that it kind of gets a little bit.
It's predictable.
It's very predictable.
Yeah.
I was going to say boring, but thank God you came in with the words because I was like,
I'll save you.
Because Jim Jeffries, he does the same thing. I think it's just look. I'm no comic, but I feel like that's just once you know what works, then you just keep.
It's kind of like Owen Wilson always plays Owen Wilson. In every movie, it's kind of like that thing. It's like you're trapped now. You have to play. Or like Matthew McConaughey for ages was always just like that love sweetheart type thing in all the movies. Like he was the love guy, and then. Yeah, and then it's kind of like, oh, it's predictable. It's going to be Matthew McConaughey, so it's going to be like some love romantic movie, like 10 Things I Hate.
Oh, God, I hope people don't think we're predictable.
How to 10 guys?
How to lose a guy in 10 days. How to get 10 guys.
How to get 10 guys. Is that what you want?
That's actually a book I've written.
Sorry, my brain's just... It's actually a book I've written, How to Get 10 Guys.
Out of my whole dating career. Only 10 of them. And I've exposed them all.
But yes, I definitely think that... No, but you kind of have to get into that. You have to find your lane.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like you can't just like chop and change too much.
Yeah.
Because people, then they can't like grasp onto what you're trying to achieve. If that makes sense. It's really hard with two people. You're trying to like look at them, like, fuck.
My eyes are up here.
Who am I looking at? But yeah, it's very hard. Like even for me with this, there's so many moments where I'm like, I could really just talk so much shit that has no meaning about anything.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, do people listening, are they only here for me chatting to like really cool like creatives and stuff?
Yeah.
And then I've kind of like just shoeboxed myself.
Yeah, that's why we were a bit confused when you wanted us.
I was going to say, because I went through all your stuff on Instagram. I'm like, oh, these people are so inspirational. They're creative entrepreneurs,
They've
small
got such
businesses.
cool
and we literally just talk shit and take the piss. Maybe you just want some comedic relief for the week. I don't know.
We just drink wine and talk shit.
We drink wine at 10 a.m. every Wednesday. And I'm into it.
Yeah.
And apparently you are too.
I have been known to be an alcoholic.
Yeah.
No, I got you guys on because I just want to have chats to my friends for starters. But secondly, it's all about just creative people in general. You don't have to be some motivational person. Like there's heaps of people I've had on that have just started businesses and stuff like that. And they're no by any means on like a huge platform, but they're giving it a go. And that's the whole point. It's just to, I don't know, provide a voice for people to like.
Just a platform of something, I suppose. Yeah, well, we're definitely doing that. I mean, we're just giving it a go. We're having fun. And I think
much fun.
People either love it or hate it, and that's fine. I feel like that's everything in life. People
but if
either
you
love
hate
it or
it,
hate
you're
it.
dead to us.
Yeah,
So
but if you
tell
hate
us you love it.
We hate you.
The game had that beautiful song, Love It or Hate It.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think we've had a few people say, "Oh, do you make any money off it?" Or "Oh, is this your job?" And I'm like, no, not at all. It is literally just something that I hope in 20, 30 years we'll look back on and be like, oh yeah, I had a podcast with my best friend.
Yeah.
We chatted shit. We got to meet heaps of people and drink a lot of wine.
Yeah. It has actually brought like a bit of, like for us, I feel like obviously the more responses that we get are from women, which is fine. Like we don't want to segregate it.
This is something. I was having this chat with my mate. Women support women.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
Like,
you
chicks just get around it. It doesn't matter what it is. There's like, fuck yeah.
Do you feel like men support men?
Nah.
No.
Not in the same way.
Not in this particular
setting
of what I'm trying to do, I guess.
Yeah.
Like if it was a sports podcast or me just talking absolute nonsense, I'm sure I could gather a massive following of males. But I feel like I'm kind of in a bit of a weird little league.
Yeah.
Running my own little race.
But it is. It's like if there is a podcast that does talk about like footy and beers and shit, and then they've got, I don't know, something. Yeah, I feel like I understand what you're saying. Like it's like that. They're like, yeah, footy, beers, boys, YGP. Whereas like with us, I feel like we have a lot of friends like between us, and we've had like great support from all of our friends, which reaches like, because we've got different avenues, different friendship groups and stuff. And then people just like responding and having, people message in, and then they'll actually say stuff. Like we might talk about something on the podcast and then we'll have them message in and be like, oh shit, I didn't even think about that, or I relate to that, and even just, it's awesome having the amount of people that message in and want to tell us about their embarrassing story or dumb shit that they've done, so it's really fun as well, because like people are open to it and they're like there's certain podcasts, but they may not feel like they could reach that platform. It might be a bit higher than what we are, but we're like low, you know, like we're right down here.
Do your chain hang low?
We're right down here. So we're approachable.
Yeah. We've set the standards so low that people can approach us.
We're just above the grass height, you know what I mean? So people are still sliding into our DMs right now but it's good. It's like we have people message us and people share our stuff as well that we probably wouldn't even necessarily, like if we're not direct friends with, it might be a friend of a friend or, so it's definitely like a YTG type thing that we've got going out there.
We're going viral. The people love us and they don't want to, but they do.
We're making them.
Love us.
Our what's our tagline? Women love us and men are constantly falling in love with us. And it is just, it's a double-edged sword, I tell you. I guess we got to fight them back with a stick. It's harming us. That's what we're saying. We are...
It's full bicky. Flat bicky.
Flat bickies.
Flat bickies.
Flat bickies. It's all flat bickies out here at the moment. But yeah, it is a very interesting world of that. I get like with all that, even for me, like when I started, I was like, I don't really know. Like I don't know what I'm doing at all, ever. Especially with this. I'm like, I think if I just do this. It's very obvious.
Not at all.
But like everyone is like running this race of like following the same thing. And I'm like, that, like everything, it kind of comes to an end.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like like it'll be a phase for a bit and then it'll fade out.
And then it's going to fade out and then something else is going to come in. And so it's just interesting to see what's going to happen, I guess. I think sports will always be around, unfortunately.
Sports is always going to be around. But I think you're unfortunately. But you're giving voice to people that might not actually have a voice in them. Like they might be just a platform behind a social media, whereas you're giving a voice to it. And I think that's pretty cool. Like you are, you know, serving a creative appetite essentially, which I think is good because there's not really not many people going down there and doing that. Like you said, you are kind of on your own little niche, but you're giving a voice to people that are entrepreneurs or creators or all the above. Or shit talkers.
Yeah, I was going to say, and who are we giving a voice to?
We're getting really deep up in here.
The people.
The people need this.
The people who think they're funny and they really just should keep their mouth shut. That's who we're giving the voice to. Like, go on and say that dumb thing.
We're our own their friendship comedians. So like in our friendship, we're like think we're the funniest. So we'll start.
I just think we want to be real because we all do dumb stuff. We all have embarrassing stories, and I think not particularly women, but in some settings, women try to just be like this elegant sort of
together.
You put together, everything's fine, like my life's great, like that girl.
Yeah.
And we're like, you know what, you can try as hard as you want to be, but at the end of the day, we've all done dumb stuff, we've all done cringy things, and we're here to give the voice to the people that are like, you can talk about it, and it's so funny and it's so fun. Like, don't be embarrassed about yourself. Don't be embarrassed about being unapologetically yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the dumb things you say and do.
And that's what we're trying to promote.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, we should end this podcast right now. That was a great motivational speech, and off we go.
End it on that before I say anything dumb.
It is. Look, to be honest, this is one thing. Now that I've got you on here, and you are females, this is a good chance for me to get in here and just figure out what's going on in the female world. But it does seem to me that females and males, for that matter, are trying to uphold this image of, I don't know what the hell they're trying to uphold, but it's like everyone's like, we can't have flaws. We can't do this. And I'm like, well, I don't understand why. Like, why? It's, I don't know, like, especially now, like maybe like back in the day when you had no social media and stuff, so you could, you know, you kind of had to be a man and like keep it together and all this kind of shit.
You can't cry and you have emotions.
Yeah, I literally just did a podcast last night with Benny about like, are you okay kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We got pretty hectic.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I was like, God damn, this is deep.
God damn. But it's important to like raise awareness to it because you're allowed I feel like life now is a bit more, it's acceptable. Like I feel like back then, like what you're saying, it's like it wasn't acceptable to be emotional and it wasn't acceptable to show that you have flaws or all the different, whereas now people are like, we don't care. Like, it's fine. We accept you. We want to, you know, we're here for you. And then there's different platforms and they're promoting different platforms to share the fact that you're not okay with. And like,
it's getting real crazy too, though. I feel like it's starting to go like the pendulum's really starting to swing over the other side now. Like before it used to be people like, oh, like there was this nice awareness starting to come out and now it's just gone like full noise. And there's just like all this awareness about all these other different things. And I'm like, oh shit, there's so much stuff I just had no idea about.
Yeah, but it is. I think it's awesome. Like it's really like setting a good kind of base platform to figure out if you're not okay, where to start.
And I was having a chat with someone that you know, a lot of people say, oh, social media is like the killer of, you know,
happiness
and self-esteem and body image. And in a way, it is like a two-edged sword. Like you can go that way and say, yeah, you know, a lot of people have more self-esteem issues and body dysmorphia and everything because they're trying to compare themselves to people who are literally doing the same thing. Everyone out there is trying to paint a flawless picture of themselves on Instagram. Yeah. But then the other end of that sword is, you know, there is more outlets and there's more people to reach out to for mental health and any sort of anything. You can literally message anyone these days for help or for awareness or to be educated or whatnot. So, yeah, it's sort of how you approach social media and what you spend your time viewing on social media.
Absolutely.
But I do sometimes fear for the future generations and what they have to deal with. Kids, back when I was in school, like I think I had like a little BlackBerry. Like, you know,
I had a Motorola flip.
Or like a flip Nokia, with those ones where you had to press the button 3 times just to get it, like the letter L.
I was a pro though.
If I wanted to spell LOL, it took me 15 minutes.
Yeah, I could do it in my pencil case without looking.
Yeah, I got so good that I just wasn't even looking. I was like,
in your Smiggle pencil case.
In my Smiggle pencil case, I could text.
Yeah.
On my 1 cent cred.
So it is crazy how the times are changing.
Yeah, they are. Big time.
And I'm only 23. I sound so old when I say stuff like that.
Look at this bitch trying to tell us.
How old? Yeah, how old?
This child
How
over
old are
here.
you, Maddie?
26.
How old are you, Jessie?
21.
I just had my 21st birthday.
Oh my God, I was just like getting so lit on the weekend of my 21st birthday. No, I'm 29.
Shit, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there? 30.
Ripped.
That's it.
And we're going to end the podcast on that note because I said my dumb shit.
No, I look, honestly, for some reason people seem to think I look younger and I'm like, well, yeah, fair enough. And then one time,
I think you do.
It was really awkward. This young chick, she was like, I think you look 17. I was like, whoa.
How do you take that?
Offensive.
I kind of was offended because then I was like,
the cutoff is 19.
I was like, yeah, look, fair enough. You could say like maybe 25, 24 max. I was like, yeah, okay, I'd probably put up with that. I was like, if you say 17, I'm like, far out. I'm like, look, I know
you have a beard.
I was like, come on.
That growth is too strong to be 17.
I've seen a lot of sun.
I've seen a lot of sun.
I got a couple of greys at the back if you haven't seen it.
I don't have any hair at all. It's gone.
On a serious note though, does 30 scare you at all?
No, I feel like I'm in my prime now.
Good.
The stuff that I know now has definitely helped with the podcast. Like when I was younger, I used to start a lot of creative projects and then I'd never see them through because I just have the attention span of a goldfish. But I've learned, I learned that through doing all these projects, it like when I started this was the first time I started it and I was like, oh, this is 100% what I'm meant to be doing. Like I don't feel any like resistance from like sticking with it over a long term. Like I think I've given myself like 10 years to see what I can do with it.
Yeah.
But before I used to, if I wasn't this age starting, I probably would have done it for a bit and stopped.
And then stopped. Yeah. Which is usually what everyone does these days because there's like statistics that say like even our age in jobs. Like back in the day, people used to stay in the same job for like 20 years, whereas like we stay like 5 max and then we move on. It's like our generation go. Like we pick up something, then we get bored, then we move on, then we keep
see, I did that with like locations. See, I'm coming on. No, it's been 2 years now since I've been here, and I'm already like, all right, I think it's time to.
I need to go
I'm at that point. So I've lived on the coast for 12 years or something, and I'm only 23, and
there she goes again. She goes name dropping her.
I'm like, you two oldies. No, but I've seriously just realized the coast is great, but I think you get to a point where if you're in a place for more than, I'm going to say 7 years, you go one of two ways. You're like, this is the place I'm going to be in. Yeah. This is the bubble I'm going to stay in, and this is it for me. Or you go, might be a home base, but I'm got to get the fuck out of here. So that's me at the moment. I'm next year keen to travel, keen to explore, whatnot. Whereas I talk to some of my friends who are literally the same age as me, if not younger, and they're like, nah, the coast is home forever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it because each their own. Yeah. But I'm like, just personally, I cannot see myself being bogged down in a particular place.
I'm gonna be the arsehole and say there's definitely something wrong with it.
With
staying in one place for too long.
No, because that's not an arsehole thing.
I'm gonna I've done
Back
things.
yourself. Back
Here
yourself.
we go.
son.
Here we digging yourself a hole again.
Yeah, anyway, all right. No, you know what? Because I've travelled around my whole life, and I've like literally, I think I've probably moved, over 9 times. Like I've been overseas and all that kind of stuff, and I know that through that, it's allowed me to have the life experience and knowledge to be able to do something like this, or when I meet people, I have a lot broader opinions on things. Like I'm not like shut off to like one thing. And I grew up in a, like where I did my high schooling stuff was in a small country town, and it was very narrow minded. And if you kind of like swayed to do something else, you were considered like an outcast, like myself, or like it wasn't any different. And every time I went back to meet up with people that I knew, nothing ever changed.
Yeah.
And then when you try to have like these conversations and you're trying to like tell them about all this stuff, they just couldn't comprehend what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like go off and go crazy, but you should definitely do travel, or even just traveling around Australia will give you a bigger, like don't just stay in one spot.
Australia is massive.
It's huge.
I've had such a recent appreciation for Australia because I've been working more out in the bush.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, this place is beautiful.
Picking mushrooms.
Yeah, picking mushies. Picking mushies, growing, bit of weed.
Foraging.
Yeah. Foraging. No, but I'm a tour guide for a trail riding company, and we have people from all over the world. Like I had a lady from Spain the other day, and she's like, I love Australia. Australia is amazing. I'm like, Australia is amazing. And we're so blessed, and you don't realise it until you get people from other countries or different states be like, oh my God, this place is so cool.
Yeah.
Like we are so privileged and so blessed here.
From Broome to Cairns, 5,000 Ks.
Trying to think where Broome is at the moment.
Broome's on the
I'm
far
not-
side.
I'm not geographically elite.
Like
Australia's
over
amazing. I
Western
have
Australia.
no idea
I'm
where
like, I
anything
love
is.
Australia at the moment. I currently know where Sunshine Coast is. We
I'm
are
just
in
like
Noosa.
super cultured, but where's Broome again?
Isn't Sydney like south somewhere, like right down the bottom?
Someone was
Yeah.
saying to me, it is quicker to fly to Bali than it is to
Perth.
WA. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's it's quicker to fly to New Zealand from Sydney than it is to fly from Sydney to Perth.
yeah, because Perth is like 7 hours, isn't it? No,
Yeah, like 6.5.
close. Bing, bing, bing. I win.
Wow. Bing, bing.
Like,
I'm still literally
Brain's
just
just
trying to
on
think about where Broome is at the moment.
Broome is like Western Australia, but up.
Wow.
It's like
Yeah, it's
kind
like
of-
North WA.
Yeah,
True.
Yeah,
Again.
great spot.
I'm all there. Not
It's
just a
all-
pretty face, Edie.
No,
All
not
the
even,
chromosomes. All the chromosomes.
not even a pretty face.
I'm something.
All right, ladies, let's get down to brass tacks.
Okay, here we go.
I only just say that just to grab your attention.
Oh,
I do it
okay.
to everyone.
Sorry,
No, I don't.
Brass what?
Let's get down to brass tacks.
I haven't heard that one before. We should add that
No,
one.
right. But it got my
Ladies,
attention.
come
It got my
on.
attention. It did get my attention.
You know what? We're going to do a little bit of an Aussie slang thing after this so I can give you a
Let's
bunch of
go.
stuff. I'm not even Australian. I'm going to give it to you.
It's fucking Kiwi over here is trying to tell us how to live.
Yeah, literally. Loser.
From across the ditch.
But
How
like,
dare you?
with your podcast, obviously you talk shit on just like fun topics.
Yep.
So when you were like coming together, collaborating, as some would say, what was that always the direction that you wanted to take it in, or were you kind of just like, how are we going to make this sustainable, and what does it look like?
Great question.
Do you
Thank
wanna
you
go?
from the boy in the pink hat. We'll answer you first.
Do you want to answer that one?
No, you go.
Okay. I think at the end of the day, we always...
We love everyone.
No, at the end of the day, we love all of you, no matter what colour hats you wear, no matter how you dress, even if you're a man. So, no, I think at the end of the day, we were like, we just want to, I mean, when you say talk shit, when people ask, oh, what do you do? Oh, we talk shit. We don't want it to sound like we're dumb. We
Right, isn't that so, like if someone says you talk shit, they instantly think you just
I know.
Just stupid.
We really need a new tagline. Then we talk
Okay,
shit.
how
Shit
about
talkers.
all right. We'll change shit talking. We'll say life topics, like
Yeah.
social topics that most people talk about in their backyard when they're with their
Yeah,
friends.
we want to talk about your shower thoughts, and well, it was more
Shower
kind
thoughts.
of just like deep, like the shit that you think about, and you might like subconsciously think about it. I suppose
We are your subconscious.
we are.
We are the devil and the angel on your shoulder.
Yeah,
We
shotgun
are
being the devil.
Jesus.
We are Jesus. We are water into wine, into a Pinot Noir from Little Giant.
We're the bread and the butter. No, we just I think we just wanted the freedom. It's not really shit talk. We wanted the freedom to talk about topics that are relatable. Like we literally say safe space, and we want to be as relatable as fuck is literally one of the things that we even say. So stuff that you think about, and like people actually message in and say you should talk about this subject or you should talk about this or that or different things. So yeah, it's like the stuff that we're kind of discussing is just kind of what would you?
I think we play it off as shit talk, but it's really just like reality. It is full reality, things that people deal with every day that they've done, they want to do, things they've wanted to say or have said.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, if they're doing it, okay, well, I can do it. It's I shouldn't be frowned upon so much for doing particular things. Yeah. Obviously, we're not saying go out and do illegal stuff. Because
don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs, kids. Stay in school. Don't punch your boss in the face. Sort of stuff like that. You know, we just want to say this is a safe space.
Your mum's from the couch.
Your mum's. Yeah. We are the mums.
We're the mums.
We are the mums that's like, it's okay, sweetie.
Yeah, it's okay.
We're cool mums.
But
it's like not like a regular mum. I'm a cool mum.
Cool mum.
You girls keep me young.
But I feel like even just with the shit that we have experienced in life, surely there's other people that have gone through the same thing or have thought the same thing or have thought something really, really funny one night in the shower and then been like, oh, who am I ever going to tell that to?
Yeah.
Tell us.
Tell us.
Tell us.
Write in 2psinapub.pod at Instagram.
I don't know why that song came into my head.
To be a part of it.
New York.
This is actually a recording studio.
Perfect.
Mimi. What's that thing I said? A good
ole, ole, ole.
No. Christina Aguilera. Bloody Marmalade. Voulez-vous coucher à voir?
Ce soir.
Do you know what that means?
No.
I want to fuck you.
Oh, really?
So
that's actually,
Here I am
welcome.
as a child.
You're
There's
welcome.
a pickup line for you guys in future. If you're ever out at a bar, tell someone you can speak French. If they ever say, oh.
But I can speak French.
Yeah, you can say the Hail Mary. But
and you just walk up and say, voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir?
You're welcome. That one's for free. You got to pay for the rest. I'll invoice you later. Back on topic.
Hey, back on topic. When you started the podcast, what was like some of the steps you took to like get it get it underway? Because for me personally, like when I started this, I was a little bit different, I guess, to what most people did. Because I think a lot of people might have done what you did by maybe renting the studio and stuff like that. I just went full noise and bought everything.
Ricky.
I was lucky at the start though, because when I started, a friend of mine, he already had this set up, so I borrowed it for like 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Maybe a few more.
Yep.
Actually, maybe it was more. I don't know. And then after that kind of run its course. Then I was like, well, now I got to fork out all the money.
Well, we spoke about it for so long. We're like, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. And then
it all started with a poll on Instagram.
Yeah. We put it to the people. We always do. We put it to the people who were like, would you actually listen to us if we did a podcast? And 90% of people were like, yeah.
Yeah.
We're like, great, okay.
200 reactions saying yes. We're like, we're on.
We're fucking
on here.
We're on. But then we were like, shit, that means we actually have to do something about it.
Yeah.
And it took a while. We did procrastinate a lot. We do have busy work lives.
Yeah.
And it was actually your mum who sat us down and she was like, you girls have to get your shit together.
Yeah.
You got to do it. And then I think the first step was creating an Instagram.
Yeah.
And then we booked in a photo shoot.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, now we
want to do it.
We have the photos.
Yeah. We wanted to do it properly. And it was a bit of fun as well. I mean, how often do you go and get like a professional photo shoot?
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
With one of your best
I've
friends?
never done it.
It's fun.
I didn't do it for this.
I recommend
And then I
it.
saw yours and I was like, sick.
We would recommend it. We went to Frank's Studios in Kwana and he had all the props and everything, and it was
Is that
good
where
fun.
that place is? For some reason I thought it was up here in Noosa.
The industrial area near your mate's brewery.
It's literally across the road from your mate's.
Yeah, my mate works there.
Your mate?
Yeah, my mate.
Your mate. Your mate.
So
Benny
your mate or
actually
my
works
mate?
So
your friends?
yeah, and then in terms of recording, we did toss up between, we could do it ourselves.
Yeah.
Should we rent out a studio? Should we pay someone to do it for us? But with our busy work lives.
Yeah, we literally were like, we do not.
You have a busy work life. I have a busy romantic life. Constantly dating, constantly getting hit up. It's hard. It's hard work.
We're busy girls. No, we just like with my
side note, I'm totally joking, by the way.
Please message me.
Please, I'm
Please
so
love me.
lonely.
Anyway, I'm on Hinge. You can find me there. Set your radius to 5Ks. I'll be there.
Set your radius to 5Ks. I'm here. I'm in the area. Noosa boys. I'm in the area.
No, it's we came to the conclusion that both of us just have a busy lifestyle, whether it be work, outside stuff, like sport. I mean, I train twice a week playing sport, then I play on a Saturday. So like
We get it. You
flex.
fit.
I was
fit,
just about to
babe.
say that.
I like to run away from people and kick balls. So that's one of my favorite things to do.
Two of them.
It was just, and then I'm a single mum. I've got a dog. Like it's hard. It's really hard. So like neither of us could actually sit down and put the time in that we would have wanted to, because both of us are perfectionists, in a way. So we just couldn't, mostly Edie, not really me, I'm pretty casual about everything. But we just couldn't put the time in. So we decided that for us, if we want to do it, we're going to do it properly. And for that, like for us to do the best, to give the best product, it's first foot forward. Fuck me, I'm just out
To
of
be
it.
the
aren't I?
We've had
best
way too
versions
much
of
Pinot.
ourselves.
We've had too much Pinot.
You got to put your best foot forward.
Yeah,
Charles.
we're putting our best, but we wanted to put our best product forward as
Yeah.
well. And for that, we just didn't have the capacity to do it. So that's why we looked into a studio and then have been with them. And we're so happy.
Yeah, shout out to the girls from On Track Studios
Yeah.
in Amble, because they were so encouraging as well. We kind of did go in the first episode
A bit like,
we just talked for 45 minutes. Our camera girl, she literally was laughing the whole time and she was so encouraging. Then we went back. Sophie, who runs On Track Studios, she was like, she literally said the words, and I'm going to put it out there, put the boxing gloves on.
Oh.
She said, you guys could give Inspired Unemployed a run for their money.
I forgot about that.
It obviously didn't have much of an impact to me though. But
I was probably drunk at that stage. So everything just goes straight over the top of my
It
head.
was 11 o'clock on a Wednesday, so we were definitely hammered by then. But no,
But she did also say to us as well that we are a bit of a niche in ourselves, and we're hitting a bit of a loss in the market. So, and we had them in stitches the whole time. So we were kind of like, they're enjoying it.
we're like, if at least 2 people are laughing at us, we hope at least 10 people
Yeah,
will, which will
surely
fall
we
into
can-
20, 30,
Yeah.
40, we hope.
I think you guys are definitely hitting the market, and I think you guys are doing very well for yourselves.
2 episodes in. Let's go. Let's go.
No, I think and I think like the whole aesthetic is like it's very well done. You have obviously put in a lot of thought to or someone has put in a lot of thought.
Between the last 2 brain cells here, there's been some form of thought.
we
that's
seem
gone
to
into it.
weirdly be like, we actually will voice memo each other. We don't even text anymore. We just
I do not
voice
text.
memo.
No,
anyone.
voice
I'd
memo is the way of the
everyone.
future.
We just voice memo the whole time, and I'll like suggest something to Edie, and then Edie will be the other end and be like, fuck yes, like yes. And then same, like Edie will message me something, be like, hey, I think this is an idea, or we should do this, or post this, or change this. I'm like, we just get it. We're like weirdly connected.
In a weird, cringy way, I genuinely feel like I found like a soulmate in Mads, because we are so on the same wavelength.
Kel.
Yeah, she is the
Are you-
Kel to my Kath. I tell you. Let me
This
run
is
this up your flagpole, you hornback. Because we are just so on the same wavelength.
Look at me.
She'll look at me. Look at me. Maddie, look at me. I got one word to say to you: soulmate.
Soulmate.
No, so she'll send me stuff, and as I'm listening to it, I'm like, oh fuck yes, and then she'll be like, oh, that's such a good idea. And I'm like, oh my god, we're the same person. So we're cringy, we're best friends, we're soulmates, and people are falling in love with us.
Yeah,
So-
but I think like if you're enjoying it, then other people are as well. And
We
we
hope
are
so.
literally just, there's things that we do create, and then there's things that we just wing. Like a lot of it we're just winging, and we're like, oh,
we
well,
also
we'll
we have no standard for ourselves. We have no
Keep 'em low.
Yeah,
Keep 'em
keep
low.
them low, because key to a good time, low expectations.
Yeah,
Am I
yep.
right? Am I right?
And even just like, it's so funny because we joke about how like we'll post something, and if we want traction on that post, we may not get it. And then we'll post something stupid and we'll have so much traction on. We're like, fuck, we've missed the ball again. You know?
We've missed the ball.
I don't
Like,
understand the algorithm.
just
I literally
the
I
algorithm.
posted something the other day, and it had like I posted it like 11 o'clock in the day, and it got like 100 and something views.
Yeah.
And then I went to sleep and woke up and had like 8,000 something views, and I was like, what the fuck?
I know.
The
I was like, where
algorithm.
did that come from?
I'll
algorithms.
never. I know Reels are the way. Reels and
Yeah.
TikTok is the way. So video, visuals, audio, da da da.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is so
You just can't-
hard to crack the code. It
I
is
don't
so
think you
hard to
can.
crack
I
the
feel
code.
like there's no such thing.
No, like we literally took the piss. Like we upload reels and stuff and like little snippets of our episodes, and like we try and get the funny bits and all like stuff that people can relate to. And then on like, it was just a Friday afternoon, I said to Edie, I was like, because we went out on the Saturday before,
God
and we got
forbid.
shit-faced and did
Oh,
karaoke.
One of us do.
I got shit-faced and did karaoke. Edie was there for moral support.
I'd do it sober if I could.
And we went there, and so like just for a Friday post, just something fun, something relatable. I was like, well, I'll just post a bunch of like fun shit of us from karaoke. That got so many views and so many likes, and I was like, it's us, not even like we're being like, it's Friday, woo! Like that's all we put as like a post, and so many people reacted to it. And we're like, fuck.
Yeah, I don't.
We're like, we want you to react to our content from the podcast, not us just taking the piss singing
Just
Belinda
take that,
Carlisle
yeah.
at Surf Air Karaoke.
And got the divinals. Like, come on. I mean, I do get up there and, you know, very sexually sing I touch myself, but it's not the point. The point is
Stop.
And we're not talking about the Lime Cordial cover. Okay?
I mean, it is the point because you should touch yourself in both ways, sexually and also
Emotionally.
check yourself.
Check yourself.
Before you
Check
wrap
your
yourself.
breasts.
Check your breast.
Check your breasts.
Check in with yourself.
Check in with
your
yourself.
prostate
That's
and
right.
check in with yourself.
That's exactly right.
Exactly. So there's a lot of messages coming out.
Always check yourself.
Before
But
you
when you're on stage, it's one thing. It's sexual.
It's sexual. Yeah. I'm trying to get the crowd pumped. It worked. I reckon at one point I can jump and I'll probably surf it one day. I'll get kicked out, but I'm friends with the DJ, Adrian. He knows. He knows what's up.
Adrian, shout out. That's my dad, actually.
Adrian.
Be respectful.
That's how often we go so much. We
We're
know
on a
Adrian.
first name basis
I
with
walk
the karaoke guy.
I literally walk up and he's like, "Hey, Maddie," and I'm like, "Fuck! I need to stop coming."
He
here."
already has my songs lined up. He's like, I got Belinda, I got Living on a Prayer by John Bon Jovi, I have Gold Digger by Kanye West. And I'm like, you know what? Surprise me, Adrian. And
You put what? You just call me forward.
You call me forward.
Is this how the podcast goes?
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like, do you have like structure when you? Because I literally haven't said anything for like the last 5 minutes, and I'm just watching this all
We just
unfold
take
because I'm
over.
like, oh no, it's great because I just want to see that like the dynamic is obviously there. So like, when you are like creating this podcast,
Essentially, I would say yeah.
do you have categories and things that go along with it?
I usually do a Word doc and
Do we look at it?
no.
Sometimes.
By the end of the day, I'm cross-eyed, so I can't even see it as it is.
We will have like 2 to 3, depending on
Topics.
how long we reckon we'll talk about them for. We might be like, all right, like our next episode that drops next Tuesday, we've got 3 topics, and then we'll like say what they are. If we've asked the audience for responses, we'll have responses so we can talk about them and then kind of discuss with each other, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll either have like 2 or 3 topics. We roughly think about how much we're going to talk about it for, and then we just wing it.
But in the first episode, because we weren't nervous, but we were kind of like, oh, you know, what if we stuff up sort of thing. We literally got in there, had our Word document, glanced at it a few times, and before we knew it, 45 minutes had gone past and we hadn't even drawn breath.
Yeah.
And what we stopped in between because the lady who was filming us, she was like, oh, I need to change the battery in the camera. And I said, how long have we been talking for? She said, 35 minutes. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's definitely like even on here, like people. They're like, oh, an hour and a half's a very long time. Honestly, I'm like, it will go
Not for
that
us.
fast, and then next minute you won't even
We
know.
could talk underwater with a mouthful of marbles.
We actually don't even need you here, Jesse. You can
No, look, you know what, I'll just
Step
let-
aside,
I'm
brother.
out of here.
I'll just go fuck
Step
myself.
Step aside. I will fuck myself while listening to I Touch Myself.
Yeah.
When you did your first episode, were you nervous?
Yeah.
I think Maddie was.
I was. Hell yeah. I don't know if you can tell me. I'm like,
Which is so interesting because seeing you in a crowd full of people,
Yeah.
you literally bring the house down as it is.
Yeah.
So nerves and Mads McCarthy do not go in the same
I
sentence.
100% agree because I've known you before this,
Yeah.
and the first time we met, I was like, this chick just knows how to handle the room.
100%.
which is so funny because I think when I'm stressed, I turn to humor.
Yeah.
So it's like,
in
everyone's
any
like, oh, she's so
situation,
funny, but I'm like fucking
you're
sweating.
like, I'm surviving.
I'm thriving
surviving
right
out
now.
here. In the words of Destiny's Child, I'm a survivor.
I'm a survivor.
I don't give up. And I use humour to
I do
deflect
though. I
things.
think I honestly just use humor to deflect things.
Of course.
That's how I've
We were-
always just been.
I was chatting with Benny about this last night. I think his episode's coming out tomorrow, so this one's going to come out a long time after we chatted about this. But yeah, we were chatting about this whole deflection thing and how people just, when they feel emotion, they'll deflect by like creating humor.
100%.
Yeah.
And I've never really like understood why. Like what I thought that in this day and age, everyone would be more comfortable now with just being like, you know what, I'm just going to own it, that I'm not feeling okay.
How do you
Yeah.
deflect? Not
what's your-
feeling okay?
I do the same.
You humour?
You gotta
Okay,
keep-
so
Yeah,
we're all funny gals here.
We're all funny. We're all
Just 3 funny gals.
Three funny
gals out here drinking a little bit of wine. Yeah.
laughing at our issues.
I've learnt though to just be honest with myself, and
Yeah.
if I'm not feeling all right, then I'm not feeling okay. Like even before coming on this podcast, a couple of life things have happened,
Yeah.
and it made me feel very uncomfortable. But I was that excited to come on here that I just knew that it would be fine.
Yeah.
But there's other people that if I was to have on, I'd feel very like I wouldn't feel myself. So I'd probably still do it because I'm like a hard worker, but then I wouldn't really necessarily feel
Comfortable while doing it.
like giving my best. I'd be like,
okay.
because I'd be thinking about other stuff.
Yeah. Whereas with us, you probably just feel like you're just having a general conversation with us.
Yeah,
You're
it's
just
just
sitting
like
down talking
chatting
shit.
to my friends.
Yeah,
Just having a
yeah.
good
I
time.
think like Maddie can probably relate to this well because I know her family. I grew up in a very funny family. Everything was humorous, and so even as a kid, I was just a funny kid. But it is funny.
Humble flex.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
I'm so
super
funny. I'm so funny.
I mean,
so likable.
give Eddie Murphy a run for it.
No, and even like recently, I've been going through some stuff like a breakup and moving and everything, and every time someone says, "Hey, how you doing?" I just laugh it off. I'm like, "Oh God, like, I'm so busy. Like I'm so under the pump, but life's good, life's sweet." Like I just automatically deflect to humor and positivity because I don't want to give myself a chance to spiral. But if anything, I'm probably doing myself more damage.
You are. I think long term.
Long term, I'm doing
That's
myself
something
more damage.
that I've done over the time is just like deflected, and then what I've noticed in other people that haven't come like own their shit to the forefront is that over time you subconsciously just keep pushing this stuff down, and then when
100%,
something really really drastic happens, like personally for me, what I have noticed with myself is that over time I've like put stuff down, and then I've started reacting a lot differently to when if I had just been open and honest about it, I would be much more calm. But because I have all this other pent up like stress, when something bad goes wrong, I like react really like full on, and then I'm like, oh shit, I should just be like, fuck.
Definitely. But then with Maddie or like with people I'm very like people I trust, I just like blurt it all out. But to anyone who just comes up and is like, oh hey, how you doing? I'm just like,
deflect.
ha 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 ha, life's good, like humor, ha ha, podcast's great, da, da, da. But with people like Maddie, even on the way up here,
This is the end.
yeah. I'm just like, let me tell you about everything. I'm in a glass case of emotion. I'm in a glass case of emotion. I'm literally Will Ferrell sitting on a vibrating couch and he's like spilling wine all over him.
I love it.
That is literally me. But I think people probably deflect to humor just because it's easy. No one wants to be a burden. But like we said, coming of age, you know, like these days, it is more acceptable and it is more just like the thing to talk about your feelings. But I think I'm slowly learning to do that more and more.
Yeah.
But humor is just a straight deflect for me because I want to make people laugh.
Yeah, same.
You
I
know?
like enjoy making other people laugh, even if I don't really feel like it. Like, no, as in like laughing, but even if I'm like,
wandering out, oh fuck, here we
Oh,
go.
here we go
Jokes,
again.
here we go again.
a bit of stand up, if you will. No,
here
it's
I
more
am.
another day, another dime. No, it's more kind of like I'm the kind of the same. Like if I'm feeling really shit, I may not. But I also went through a lot of shit, like what you guys are saying. Like I went through a lot of shit quite young. So I think like I matured quite early because I went through so much shit in my life. And so now I'm kind of like, I genuinely enjoy making people laugh and feel good about themselves. So that's something that I do because if I can get someone else to laugh, then that makes me happy, if that makes sense. Like I'll vibe off them vibing type thing. So yeah, that's probably another thing why we bounce off each other quite well, I think, like even with like what you're saying with the podcast stuff, because we do. But then we can also pull away and be like, fuck, life is fucked, hey.
Yeah.
We can also pull away being like, you know, sometimes we feel like shit and that's okay. And we'll tackle stuff like that for sure.
Yeah, I'm hoping we do in the podcast, like as much as we're taking the piss and talking shit, I like want people to know that it is a safe space in all aspects. To talk about your embarrassing stories, but also to talk about the stuff you're going through. Like the door is always open for us in our DMs. And yeah, literally come knock on my door and I will let you in, make you a little cuppa. I'll be like, let's talk. Are you saying Bronson tonight?
Around. No.
You dirty dog. You dirty dog.
I'm not.
Who? What's his name? Bronson.
B daddy.
Yeah. Bronson, I got a new man.
A new man.
Actually, I just got a man, full
Yeah, I
stop.
was like, compared to who?
Do you really have a man?
I do, yeah.
Like a boyfriend? What?
Scandal of this century.
When? Since when?
Like pretty recently. Like literally in the last month and a half. But not even like we're just seeing each other. We're not boyfriend. We're not boyfriend.
What's his Bronson?
Yeah.
Bronson?
Oh, Oh no, this is so
If
cringe.
you break my homegirl's heart, I'll come find you.
I hate this.
We will Liam Neeson the shit out of you in Taken.
Ew,
I will find
actually
you
gonna
And
spew.
and I will kill you.
And I'm going to make a reel so it's everywhere.
We're going to expose you on the algorithm.
Cut this shit out right now, you two. I'm off this. I feel so
Well,
good.
he's really going to want to date you after this.
I know.
He's really gonna, he's like, who the fuck
Fucked
is that
it
guy?
for me now. God fucking damn. You're giving him
Who's
full
this
shout-
guy in the pink hat?
You're giving
threatening
him
me?
shout outs while looking down at the camera.
Yeah,
like,
straight
Going down the
beeline and down the camera.
barrel of the gun.
fuck.
So what would be the end goal, I guess, if you could have anything in the world with the podcast, what would it be?
Ooh.
Honestly,
This is a very cliche question, by the way. You don't have to answer if you don't want to.
I would love to be famous.
Can we phone a friend?
Yeah, I want to use my lifeline. No, I would honestly love just to be pretty well known. Pretty well known. Like, I would love for it to be worth it.
I actually would just I genuinely
Yours
just
is probably more humble.
yes, I want to be famous.
Humble me right now.
No, I was just gonna say I actually just genuinely would like the podcast to get off.
I would love to get off.
I'd love to get off on the podcast. No, I would love for that to get somewhere and get some ground and just honestly have people the best thing would be for me to walk down the street and then someone be like, I love what you put out.
Yeah.
there.
No,
Literally.
that's what
just
I
be
meant.
I love that. You're
That's what I
famous.
meant.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, that's what I meant, but I would also love to be famous.
You just got to own it, be
No,
honest.
definitely. I get what Mads means. Like, even you being recognised, being like, oh, you're Mads from Two Peas in a Pub. Just for people to come up and be like, thank you for saying that because, or whatever topic we do for that week. Oh,
Yeah.
I could really relate to that. That happened to me. I didn't think I could talk to anyone about it. Oh, da-da-da. Just
Yeah.
the fact that people can relate sort of thing because
Yeah.
we got to stick together.
Yeah, that'd be my thing. It'd be more kind of just I just enjoy what you put out there and I enjoy what you have to say. Honestly, when people say to me, they're like, I just love listening to you guys. Just love listening to what you talk about. It's fun. We can relate to it. Even just for me, I'm just like, oh, that's sick. Cool. That's all for me, that's all I wanted. I just wanted you to be able to listen to it and be like, cool. And I feel like it's a bit different. Because you're pushing creative people to show what they have to offer. Whereas for us, flex. Whereas for us, we're not really pushing anything. We're just being the people that kind of put a voice towards stuff that you think about and don't actually say.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty interesting. Even for me, I've had a lot of doubts recently with this whole project. But then I do get the occasional message where people have contacted me from complete. I had one person, I think she's from Tassie.
Oh yeah.
I think she was just like, oh, thank you so much. I've recently discovered this podcast. It stopped me from quitting my actual job. No, she has a creative job and she was going to quit and go get a normal job. And she's like, it's actually stopped me from doing that and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Because I don't really, the whole point when I started was I was like, if I just make one person inspired and want to, and not inspired as in I'm Tony Robbins. I just mean when I started it, the whole point for me was that I talk to creative people like yourself or anyone else and I get really excited and I want to keep pushing something creative that I really enjoy. And that's all I want other people to do. I'm not going to go give you 10 rules of life. I'm not that kind of motivational. I just want people to listen to other people. Because when I was younger, I used to, you Channel V and they used to have the interviews and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to watch those and I was like, oh man, I wish one day that could be me. And I really and then, so that's basically all I want to do here. So if someone does send me a message or anything, I'm like, far out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sick.
no, for sure. And what you said, about having people laugh, that was my thing. I was like, if we can have 20 people listen to it and they all laugh, that to me is done. That's ticked my box up. Whoa.
You know how people say, what's the meaning? There's that constant question going around in your life. Quenching.
There's a lot of quenchins going on.
Quench that
What
thirst
does
with
it
the
mean?
Pinot Noir. No, the constant question of what is the meaning of life. I think we were all put on this earth to make an impact in one way or another, whether it's negative sometimes, but hopefully more positive. And I think at the end of the day, if we can, like you said, impact one person, if not thousands of people in a funny, positive, light way and, relative way, then we've done our job.
Yeah.
We have done our job. And I think that's why everyone kind of starts a podcast because they want to influence or they want to inspire, educate, promote, da-da-da. Here to help people. If we can do it with one person, hopefully we can do it with two.
Yeah. I mean, and it's kind of the same, even our friendship group, I'm the same. I'm as long as I can make all my friends feel good about themselves. Like that to me is like achieving something. Like as long as if I could see someone and leave them knowing that they feel better and having a good day, then that's awesome. And if we can do that via this platform, that's even better.
Help us to help you.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's a very, like what you guys are doing is, it will definitely do that just because it's a very lighthearted kind of like medium.
Yeah.
Where there's no real like, I don't know. Oh, there probably will be. I guess you probably will have heavier topics come up at some point. But for the most part, it's like you could just chuck it on and listen to it in the car and just have like a bit of a laugh and like really brighten up someone's day.
Yeah, and that would be, that for me is what I want to achieve. I just want to make sure that like a lot of people can listen to it and then have a laugh and walk away, or even hang out with me and Edie as people and be like...
And Bronson.
And... I can't... And feel good, like, and genuinely. Oh my God, I'm cringing so hard. I hate you guys. Fuck.
She's like, I wish I never said anything.
Oh, you set me up.
Set you up for failure.
Oh, that was so sad.
I hate this so much. I want to hide and I've got nowhere to go. I'm trapped.
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
I think as well, like, no one wants to leave. Like, because I'm trying to get deep right here. There are so many pressures in life and no one wants to leave anything feeling heavier. So if people listen to the podcast and they leave and they're like, oh, God, I needed that.
Yeah.
Oh, I needed a laugh. Oh, I want to chuck on 2 peas in a pub because that's funny. Like, I'm having a hard day, da-da-da. And we will touch on, more sensitive topics, but as well, we've got to look after ourselves. And we don't want to leave the podcast feeling heavy and blah, da, da.
Yeah.
So, lighthearted, humour, taking the piss.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll cover some heavy stuff, but then it's kind of like, where do you go from there? Like, if we start going down some, like, heavy topics, how do you...
Well, yeah, I don't think there's any need. Do you know what I mean? Like, if people want to find heavy, like, podcasts, there's plenty of them out there.
Yeah, absolutely. There's stuff that's, like, how to deal with emotional things that you're going through, or narcissistic relationships, or this or that or that. Like, there's podcasts that specifically go down that, whereas we want to kind of keep it lighthearted. If somebody asks us a question, we can answer it. Yeah. Like, if there's something like that. But I don't know. It's more kind of, and for me, it's also kind of like, for Edie to, like, because when we did kind of approach doing a podcast, Edie approached me being like, hey, would you be keen on doing it? And if I said no, like, I'm all about having like a yes kind of outlook on life. Like,
yes, man.
Yes, man.
I genuinely
100%. Great movie, actually.
I genuinely had, like, a couple years ago, I had a yes year. So anytime someone approached me about something, and I think that may have been even when we met, Jessie. Like, I think someone, oh my God.
Jessie's like, will you be my friend? She's like, yes.
Oh,
See this friendship bracelet that I kept from you. But it's like, I think that someone was like, oh, do you want to come down here? And I was like, yes. Because I think I just went through so many years of like some really, really hardcore shit happening in my life that I was like, next year I'm just going to I'm literally going to grab life by the fucking balls.
We met, I remember this now. This is it's all coming back to me after all the alcoholic fueled parties. We met after a breakup with a girl, same girl actually, we broke up twice. But we met at the first breakup and I was at the Kiwana pub and you were there and we were just having a good old, we were actually talking about that. We were having a good old chin wag.
Yeah,
and you were like,
did.
yeah, fuck that person. I was like, yeah, thank you.
Fuck that person. Me having no idea. I'm like, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Dead to me.
And then we've been friends ever since.
We did, but we just clicked. I think we had a birthday party. I don't even remember.
We were at a birthday party for
a post birthday party. Was it Lewis?
Naomi or Louis. It was Lewis.
Yeah. We're at Lewis's.
Shout out to the team.
Shout out to the guys.
I'm third wheeling hard here. I'm like, oh yeah, Naomi, Lewis.
So you can step aside right now.
People.
You've had your moment.
I've had my time to shine.
No, but we did. We were just sitting there, and then we both were just we were both just chatting shit, and then we were like, "Good guy,
when
cool
you,
chick."
Yeah, like when you said you were going to start a podcast, I was like, "This is the right thing for you," because I genuinely think like I don't know why I'm looking down at the table.
My eyes are up here.
Jessie, up here. It's really, I've always had this thing in life where I find it really hard to stare people in the eyes.
Yeah,
I've noticed
that.
I
stare people straight in the eye.
Yeah, but I was getting really good at it in the podcast. And now I'm like, fuck, now I really have to.
And now there's two of us, so you're like, fuck. Just
you have 2 eyes.
Pug, like faux pug.
One
That's
eye.
like one eye either
They're
way.
like gecko. 1 eye on each person here.
But yeah, when you said that you were starting, I was like, this is exactly what you should be doing. Because I feel like you have such a great personality and then you two together just complement each other. You're like a little 2 peas.
Soulmates. Soulmates for 2 me.
I definitely think that it's, 2 me. 2 me's.
2 of me.
There's 2 of me, which makes an us.
In one pub.
One pub.
Too much.
I remember you used to make like shitty little, not shitty, but like funny little reels.
Shitty reels.
Why did I say that? That's not what I meant. I meant like
The truth comes out after a few
shitty
sips
things
of
that you
wine.
put on Instagram.
no. Actually, the funniest thing I will remember, and that was I said you should have made it a reel, was that you left your milkshake out the front of the door, and you like come running out the door, and you're like. That was when I was like, she definitely needs to be doing something comedic. I was like, you are so funny. And
Melissa
people respond
McCarthy
to
over
it.
here. Full Melissa McCarthy.
I literally just took the piss. I think it was Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It was Valentine. I actually just love also putting, because again, like that's something that I do. It's like a platform that I have, and people know, if they know me, they know that I take the piss. So like I enjoy also uploading dumb shit to Instagram and TikTok, and because if I can have someone laugh at it, then I like enjoy that.
I think I figured it out.
What?
After that video, Bronson has climbed over the Alps. And he's walked a long way to get here.
You need to
and he
stop.
has figured
I'm
out where the
fucking off
milkshake.
it.
He has found the
I'm
milkshake.
so glad I'm single right now. I'm so glad.
I hate this so much. I honestly want to die. I think I'm shaking.
Your
a little bit.
milkshake brings only one boy to the job.
I mean, my milkshake did eventually work. Fucking 3
You
years
know,
later.
you know the scene out of like Will Ferrell where it's like news team assemble. That's what you've done, and he's heard it. He's heard it. It's reverberated across the world, and he has come far and wide to get here.
Where do you think he's from?
Oh.
Iceland?
Sure.
Perth. Broome. He's from
Look,
Broome.
guys, Maddie and I are very good friends. I wouldn't do this to anyone else because I know it'd probably make them cringe. But
Yeah,
I love
fuck.
Maddie, and that's okay.
Fuck me. You guys set me up hardcore here.
I think
Both.
someone set you up. It wasn't me though. I didn't know about it until recently.
It was you.
Don't say anything.
No, just kidding. No, it's it just makes me cringe because I'm like literally I've been single for like 2.5 years. So anytime anyone's like a boy,
We've
I'm
literally,
like, oh.
we've literally reversed roles. So she's been single for 2.5 years. I've been in a relationship for 2.5 years. As soon as
That's rough.
as soon as I became single, you get into a relationship. So we didn't ever have like a hot girl single moment.
I mean, I've had a fucking hot girl
together
2.5 years.
Together.
Oh, so yeah, I mean, we can still have hot girl.
Together.
You know the scary thing about your podcast though is that on my podcast I speak about like breakups and things on a very like deep, more like an emotional level rather than the person themselves.
Yeah.
Where I feel like on your podcast, if whoever that you break up with or stay with, they're fucked.
Bus drag them up.
Like whatever he does during the week,
Yeah.
if he says something weird, you'll be like, oh my
you're
God,
done.
look what he has said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what
We're
I
all
mean?
about
Like,
exposure.
I
We're
mean,
all about exposure.
Check
So,
yourself before you wreck
burning
yourself.
I hope he's got
bridges.
thick skin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I reckon he's got thick skin. I reckon he'll be able to handle it. No, it's more me. Like I act all tough and shit, but you guys do this to me, and I'm like,
It's so much fun. I'm having the best time.
You always
Yeah.
tell people to run at you.
I
And
feel
as
like
soon
it'd
as we
be-
run at you, you dodge up.
Yeah,
you guys are running at me with something I've never had to deal with before.
She's like falling, stepping. She's like, wah, wah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
Two-stepping.
I'm running away though. I'm like,
It's actually so great because I don't have anyone behind me or no relationship, so I'm fine, single. Ladies,
no, I reckon if he fucks up, he's screwed because we will heckle him.
ridicule
Hardcore.
him.
Yeah,
I've heard
yeah.
some other girl podcasts and they just destroy their ex-boyfriends.
No, I don't think we're really good with not naming names
Yeah.
because the coast is a very small place and we
Yeah.
don't want to.
That's
Not
fine.
naming names while you two literally
Just come
Yeah,
with creative
well,
appetite. You'll hear his name.
yeah, then you'll know.
But on our
Bronson.
podcast, we wouldn't do stuff like that. No, because we're very mature. No, we're trying to be very careful with not naming names and everything.
Yeah.
But
I also feel like
Honestly.
we joke about. I also don't want to come on it and literally rip into someone as well because I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that type of podcast. Like I genuinely
She's
don't.
like backtrack. She's like, fuck.
shovel.
No. Like I actually don't like. I get off on making people laugh. I don't want to be like, fuck this guy. Fuck this. Like I don't want to be an anti.
I don't think you want to come into it with a negative notion.
Yeah. Like I don't want to come in and be like anti guys. It's
No,
not like
no.
that at all. It's more like if something funny happens, that would be something relatable that another couple could go through. And Edie and I do bounce stuff off each other as well. So I'd be like, oh, have you experienced this? So then maybe if there was something that was like that, then we could kind of dip into a little bit more. And then maybe we could ask girls like, oh, have you guys experienced this in the relationship or this or that? And then have feedback and then go off that. But I don't want to come on and be like, fuck guys, fuck this. Because I don't feel like that at all. It's more kind
That's
of
right, because
like.
I'm amazing.
Because we love you. We love you guys.
Standard. Set the bar very high with your pink hat.
Oh, this pink hat's going to go world places.
Patagonia. Shout out.
is.
It's actually handmade by a guy from Sydney.
Right. I thought you were going to
So-
say handmade from a child in Bangladesh.
No. Fun
Slave
fact.
labour.
So Troy O'Shea is his name, and he was given offcuts from Patagonia in Sydney to make a bunch of hats, and then he's made these. I've got a bright yellow one and a grey one,
Wow.
and yeah, they're really cool.
They are cool.
I like it.
Good for
It's like
visuals.
parachute material.
Good for visuals.
Yeah, it's like the rain, like the jacket
Like a
material.
raincoat. Yeah, like a raincoat.
Yep.
No, I like it. Flex.
Hot tip for
Hot girl shit.
players. Hot girl shit.
Hot girl shit.
Hot girl summer coming in.
I'm surprised I haven't lost it actually.
You
Yeah,
can't
you're doing
lose
well.
it because it's bloody
Yeah, but
pink
people
and bright.
try to steal it all the time. I'm like, can you just not
No,
take
leave
it?
it here so no one can take it.
Mm.
Don't wear that out because any girl will just kind of grasp that from you.
Actually, let's talk about that. What is the go with chicks taking people's hats?
See, again,
know.
something relatable that we can talk about.
I think
Right,
I think it's 100% like a flirting tactic.
Yeah, it is.
Like
It's to get your attention.
Yeah, it's to get attention. And
But I feel
stuff.
like guys hate it. So
Yeah.
that's what's the funniest thing.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't do it.
For us, we sit there and we like watch it unfold like,
Like,
not going to end
sweetie,
well.
Sweetie, no.
Sweetie, stop.
I
Well,
think
let's
it's
talk
definitely-
about some flirting tactics, all right, while
Sure.
we're on here, because I have a lot of male listeners and they would like to know.
We would bloody like to know what they're up to too.
To be fair, I probably have more female listeners than male listeners. No one's actually, I haven't really calculated the numbers, but I'm starting to feel that maybe that's the thing that's going on, which is fine.
In terms of flirting tactics, do you mean like ours?
Yeah, girls.
Oh, wait, we'll
This
start
is
with
more for
yours.
me,
Okay.
so I know what's going on.
As in what we do or what our hot tips? Bit of both.
No. Yeah, both.
Okay,
I
so
don't- I'm like,
what I've been doing lately, which is brave of me, and also foolish at the same time, is because I've come into this part of my life where I'm like, I genuinely don't care. Like I genuinely don't care. So if I see a guy that I think is cute, I will genuinely approach him and I'll just ask if he's single.
Baddie.
And it
That is
hasn't.
baddie.
Straight
Baddie
baddie.
move.
Yeah, so like I said, I put this up on our socials
Bad
the
bitch
other week.
energy.
I went to the markets and there was a really cute guy at the fruit shed. Gorgeous guy. He dropped a lemon. I picked it up. We made eye contact. I left and then I was like, I got to turn around and go buy a watermelon from him.
Don't even like watermelon, but I'll fucking buy it. So
So
I can talk to
I
him
went
again.
and bought a watermelon and I just said to him, I said, I don't know if anyone's told you this today, but you are so handsome. I like to use the word handsome rather than you're so hot. You're so
No, I don't know.
I feel like
yeah.
there's no surface level.
Yeah.
Like it's very surface level comment if you say
yeah.
someone's hot.
So I said, I don't know if anyone's told you this today, but
Did
you're
you say
very
fire?
Fire.
You are literally fire.
Ooh. No, I said you are very, very handsome, and he touched me on the shoulder.
Did he reenact it on me?
Yeah,
Did he pat?
he was like, no one's told me that today, but thank you. And I was
Oh,
like,
that was a bit like.
I melted. No, he was like, no one's told me that today, but thank you. And so I bought the watermelon and I left and I was like, nah, you can do better. So I've turned back.
No,
and I've turned back and I've just said, look, are you actually single? And he's like, I am single. He said, but he's like, I'm in a situationship. And I was like, well, you let me know when that ends because I'll be
back next week to
I'll be back
fucking
every
buy
Sunday.
a rock melon next week.
Let me know when kiwis are in season because I will
Is
be
it
coming
mango
back.
season yet, bitch? Because I'll be fucking back for a tray of them. Individual trays.
So I've just been super brave, and so far my hit rate is not successful. But I asking you as a male, do you find that intimidating, or do you find that attractive if a girl approaches you?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it doesn't really happen often.
Look at the brain idea. Look at that.
Actually, it depends.
It's just the
it
monkey
depends-
going.
Yeah. She's taken one back. I'm not stupid, I swear. No, it depends on the context and how they do it, I guess. Because for me, like, if someone like comes up to me aggressively and is like, "Oi, you're fucking hot," and rah rah rah, I'm like, "Oi,
Yeah, that's a bit
alright." I'm
much.
like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But if,
So-
if someone did
No,
what
but
you
I
did,
wouldn't do that, man.
if someone
what
did what
he
you
does.
did, I'd probably be more inclined to be like, "Oh, do you want to grab a coffee?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm also very confident, so I don't know. Like, it can be intimidating, like because
Yeah.
like if you were just straight off the bat, like what you've done, you don't know if that person's like an introvert or an extrovert.
Yeah.
So it can kind of really go either way. But I know I'm an extrovert, so if someone was confident enough to say that to me, I'd be
Yeah.
like, "Let's go."
Yeah.
But as well, I'm also just happy like telling people that they're beautiful.
Yeah, but if this
I'm
is
like,
reverse roles,
I want to
and
let
I
you know
say
you're
that,
beautiful. Oh my God.
see, this is different.
No,
this
no,
is
no.
where I don't like.
I had this debate with someone because obviously the dating world 3 years ago,
It's changed.
it has in 3 years. 3 years isn't a long time, and I feel like it's changed so much. Whereas I've found if a guy wants to approach me, he'll like slide into the DMs or react to my story, and I'm like, there is no substance to that. And I was talking to one of my friends, and I was saying I am a sucker for just the old school sort of approach me at like a cafe, or if like just come up and say, hey, I really think you're beautiful.
I admire
like, would you
that.
like to get a coffee? I would die.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh my God, yes.
I feel like, but like you try that shit in Sydney, people would be like, he's trying to fuck. Like,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
it's
See,
a very
I'm not
different
cultured.
world. No, if you like in Sydney, people would just like beeline. There's no like deviate. Like unless you go to one cafe consistently and then you start to get to know people.
Well, it doesn't have to be a cafe, at a cafe.
But what I mean is, like up here in the coast, it's much more relaxed. It's a bit more.
So relaxed.
You try to grab
So
someone's
groovy.
attention in Sydney, they're gonna assume you're trying to mug them or something.
True.
There's
I
no-
mean,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
happy to steal your wallet at the same time. Like a magician. Hello, you're beautiful.
But like,
Taking
if
$10 from your wallet.
I said this to a chick though, I was like, "Hey, you got a really nice smile," and she looked at me like I've said something crazy, and I was just
See,
like,
I would die.
Yeah.
I'd be like, wow, thank you. Like that's.
I would love to
that's
do the
sweet
traditional
as.
find a chick, but
Yeah.
you know, in this day and age, everything's on
Everything,
bloody
it's
I
like
know,
there's an
it's
ulterior
so
motive
hard.
behind everything.
Like, I feel like organic is the way to go, but not everyone's on the same wavelength.
I actually think, like, I feel like if you're going to slide into someone's DMs, that's fine.
Yeah.
But as long as you back it up with, like, it's not just a, hey, no response.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to be a, hey, little bit of chat, let's grab a coffee and initiate that kind of, like, straight away.
Yeah, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this because this is something that's really
please.
grind my gears.
Yeah,
Right?
go on.
Females,
Here we go.
I'm talking to you.
Yep.
On Hinge, so I've.
Oh,
I,
don't it? No,
I
no.
am no.
I don't even know what Hinge is.
No, let me finish. Let me finish that. I have been around this app at some point in time, and I have noticed that I have like. It's more like guys have to put in this whole entire like like something funny or something witty.
Yeah.
Otherwise, chicks just don't
Yeah.
reply. And then I've had chicks blatantly write just hey. Not even a full stop, just hey. I'm like,
yeah.
wait a second. I'm like, hey, what do you want me to do with that? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
do you want me to send you a wave emoji? Like, what?
up?
Like, I don't
Hey,
think that's.
peace.
But like, come on, like if you're trying to grab my attention, at least put in
Yeah.
some type of effort.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I agree.
fully.
I think like with Hinge, like for me, I've deleted it ages ago because I just had
obviously.
so many people flooding my inbox.
Why did you delete it again?
No, I actually deleted it way before. Like I genuinely was like, I'm not actively looking. I'm like genuinely
Yeah.
not actively
We
looking.
met on Hinge.
Hey,
We met on Hinge.
we met on Hinge, did
No,
we?
we crossed paths.
Oh, we crossed paths on Hinge. Yeah, we did cross paths.
It's like when you're walking down the
was
street,
like,
you
what?
see your
We
friend,
met
you're
on
like, hey, you're on
Hey
it too.
friend, how's it doing over there?
How's your
How's
going?
life going? Has anyone messaged you lately? Yeah, nah, fucking shit's fucked
Yeah,
over
she's
here.
pretty.
There's a fucking drought over here, am I right? No, we did cross paths on it. we checked in, was like, hey friend, how's it doing
It's
over there?
literally like, friend, how are you?
Just checking. Are you suffering as much as me? Yes.
It's like when you walk past with your coffees and you just stop for a 5-minute chat. Yeah, so anyway, how's it been going?
We
It's
just
pretty
slid in
good.
and said, blink if you're not okay. So, no, we did cross, but like ages ago, I actually deleted it because I was just not, I don't like dating apps. I just think they're a fucking waste of time.
Yeah.
And I mean, kudos to those people who have actually genuinely found people on dating apps. I didn't. And I felt the same. I was like, I would have guys in mind being like, hey, and then I'd get like a sup cutie. And I'm like, I'm not even going to reply to that.
Sup.
Like I would literally have
SUPQT.
I would have sup cutie instead. I was like, immediately no. And then if I was the one that would reach out and like someone's, I would message me, hey, how's it going? Like a little bit of something, just so there's something more they can grab onto. And then half the time I just get left on red, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's fine, but it does like actually fuck with your ego, I think. Like, because I'm a pretty
Yeah,
confident person,
it
and then
does.
when
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
get nothing, and you're like, it's online, like you're not even looking me dead in the eye before you
Yeah.
reject me, and it still fucking hurts. Like,
It started to become like a bit of a game for me in terms of like, I'd be like, oh, I shouldn't say this, but
It's all a game,
It's
really. It's all a
started to dig
game.
hole
here
now.
we go.
But like because it's like social media, right? Like everything's just fake.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll just try and make it the funniest. I'll just give my funny side and see what happens. Because I'm like, no one's gonna go on there and be like, my interests are this. Like
Yeah,
you're not gonna be
yeah.
like giving this whole spreadsheet. So I was like, well, I'll just try to design a profile that I would think I would like. That's like my best funny side.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I remember one of the things was like, tell me something that people don't know about you or some shit.
Yeah.
I was like, I own a mum's car. I own a small mum's SUV called Karen.
Yeah, yeah.
Great response. It was just going off the top.
Fire.
Through the roof.
Absolute
Through the
fire.
I
roof.
was like,
Did you ever look at my profile? Like, did
yeah,
you ever
yeah.
read it? Mine was comedy.
Yeah, yours was the same as mine. I was like, is it? I was like, because what else are you supposed to do on there? You're
I
going to act all
know.
insecure and be like, actually I have all these insecurities as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey,
Let's
I have
dive
actually
in.
body dysmorphia, but it's cool. Slide in my DMs and we can share that dysmorphia together. No, like I would same thing. Like mine was like comedy things that people could swipe, like grab onto and have some sort of response.
But then there were some people on there, like then there was other people that were like full on like, I'm not here to play games, I'm here to find my fuck. I'm
That's
just like,
too much. My brother, take it to eHarmony or something.
I
not
Yeah,
Tinder.
I feel like there's certain websites
Yeah.
like Hinge, no. Tinder, no.
ChristianMingles.com. Like, come on.
Sugardaddy.com.
Like, there's got to be, like, if you're genuinely looking, those two websites are not the place to be.
No. Not at all.
I was just like putting my feelers out there, I suppose. Like I actually, like again, I know we joke about it, but I was like, I genuinely wasn't looking. I was just like, fuck it, I'll do it, whatever everyone
It's like
else
an
is
ego
doing.
boost, right?
It is like an ego
So
boost.
Oh
like,
my
you're
God,
like,
the biggest ego boost. You're
I'm
like, oh my
hot.
gosh.
Yeah, you'd be like, I could get it, but I don't want it.
Yeah.
But like,
They want me, but I don't want them.
yeah, it was. But then I did go on a couple dates, and then like I'd have these guys that would be like, oh no, I'm not like I'm just after something casual, and I'm like, cool, at least you're honest with me. Thank you for telling me that. I'm not really interested in doing something like that right now. So thanks anyway, but no. And I'm like,
Shake hands.
the
leave.
effort, yeah, we high five on the way out. Like, but it's kind of like for that for me was kind of like what was the point of kind of like messaging me,
I know.
going on a date with me to then turn around and be like, I just want to fuck buddy, and I'm like,
It's a
Well,
cruel,
this,
cruel
actually,
world.
here we go. This is good. I like this. Because what is the outcome then? Like, if someone puts in the effort and makes conversation, then goes on a coffee date and they only want sex, what
Yeah.
happens if they're just straight up honest at the start?
yeah, I know.
I'm not saying this is like
I would
women,
almost
men
like,
or women.
I would almost like honestly just respect you more if you said like, this is my this is what I want right now. I'd be like, yeah, cool.
Instead of fucking around.
I did actually respect, like after the date, this was fucking months ago. Like this was last year.
Don't
But,
worry,
like,
don't worry, brother. Months ago,
Babe.
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 Is he gonna listen to this?
Now I'm going to
he
just
is now,
tell
he
him.
is
I am not going to tell him now because you fucking rip him. No, babe,
Rip
this
him.
was last
He's gonna
year.
rip me.
Babe.
He's gonna come hunt me down. He'll be like, motherfucker, mate, you're probably a really great guy. I'm not trying to talk shit about you. I'm just trying to have a bit of a laugh.
A bit of a laugh. No, this was literally like last year. And then after, so it's like we talked for a bit and then we went on a date. And then after, he literally said to me, like after that, because I'm not somebody that plays games. Like I'm very straightforward with what my intentions are. Look at me. I'm using my hand
Look at mine.
in a solid
hand. It's a
motion.
knife
This
hand.
is a fucking, like I am serious. I've got my fingers parted. No, like I'm not into playing games. I'm not into high school bullshit.
No.
Like if I have good intentions for you, I'll tell you. I wear my heart on my sleeve and I stand by that. And it's like for this guy, it's like he walked the walk and then he talked the talk and then we went on the date and then I messaged because I was like, I'm not playing that whole like bullshit. I'm not going to reply
who's
to
gonna
you.
message
Who's going to
first?
message first? I was like,
Yeah, what the hell is the go with that? Like,
So
honestly, you
I'm
know
like-
what? I'm going to shout this. Guys, sort your fucking shit out because you are
Sort
giving
it.
me a bad name. And this is the
Sort
truth. Like, the
it.
amount of females that have come to me and be like, you know, I've just had a really bad experience with this guy and this guy and this guy. And I'm like, what the fuck? Excuse my French,
Sort
but
it
what
out.
are you doing? Like, can you just chill out on the dangerousness, you know? Just
Yeah.
don't love bomb them. Don't like say all the... Don't say all this like just shit
Yeah.
and not be honest. Like I'm a very honest person.
you
like
and I are
I've
the
had
same, yeah.
interactions with females before and I'm like, honestly,
this
I'm
is
not,
where I stand.
I can't give you any more than just hanging out and having fun. Like I genuinely will want to spend time with you and like have fun, but I know for a fact I can't commit to a relationship right now because I have so much going on with like this project and like my
Yeah.
life's starting to turn into a bit
Straight
of
up.
shambles and
Yeah.
shit.
Straight up.
So I'm very honest. I'm never like, oh, you know, this is gonna be this, and I'm so glad that we're together. And like, I never fucking say any of that shit.
Which I respect. Like I respect that. I generally just think like you're better to lay everything out on the
Yeah,
table
just-
from
And
the
then
get-go.
and then just be like, hey, in 3 months or however long, whatever it goes for, if it's like someone's starting to feel a little bit more, just be honest and be like, look, you know, I'm starting to get the feels a little bit stronger. Or can we review this like maybe like 3 months down the track and be like, hey, where are we sitting at kind of thing.
Yeah.
Don't, like I had this conversation with Rob. I don't know if we had it on the podcast or not, but like you can't just sit there and just keep like feeding this information to someone, vice versa. It's not just one-sided.
Yeah.
And then they're like, because genuinely in a relationship, someone is obviously more dominant than the other one and someone's holding on a lot stronger than what the other person
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
So don't like feed that person all this shit and then turn around and just crush them.
Yeah, and be like, oh no, I'm actually not into it. And you're
Because
like,
the cycle is just getting
fuck?
worse.
Yeah.
And I feel like with social media and Hinge and everything, it's just getting way, way worse.
Yeah. No, well, this guy, like,
fucked.
I think I maybe messaged him first because I was like, again, like, I'm not into playing that shit. And I was like, yep, cool. I had a good time. What do you reckon is going to happen again? Like, it wasn't awkward. Like, the date went really well. And then he was like, hey, look, just to be honest, not after anything, just want something casual, blah, blah, blah. And
Did
just
he
like
tell you
later.
that before he slept with you or after? Did you sleep with him?
No, we went on a date.
Oh,
We
shit.
didn't even kiss.
Jesse, don't jump to conclusions
Who do
here.
you think I am?
What are you doing?
She's a whore.
I know that you look at me and look at me thinking, you know, I'm a slutty checkerboard, but I'm not. I'm actually.
I can literally see your lacy white bra from here, so that's where my head goes.
I'm a slutty
Do that button up.
Get out here.
Do it.
No, we didn't sleep. We just literally went on a date, had a date, didn't kiss, walked away. That was it. And then he messaged me like, "Hey, I'm not interested. I just want something casual." And I was like, I actually respected that, and I was like, "Okay, cool, sweet." But like, why even go to that extent? Like, just say that you're not. I don't know. Like, why?
I
can't
like
people
going
be
on
like,
dates though because I like meeting people.
Dates is fun.
true.
Dating is fun.
Yeah,
I'm
true.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, if someone reaches out to you and like, hey, we should go get a drink or go get dinner, or let's go for a coffee, go for a surf, I'm like, this is fun.
Yeah.
It is good fun. And I think there is so much pressure out there to be like, well, you went on the first date. Now you have to be in a relationship.
I don't
with this
go
person.
into anything with any intentions though.
No.
Like
I said, key to a good time, low expectations.
No expectation. No, but I didn't. Like, even with the date, I didn't go in with any expectations.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of like, oh, yeah, sick. Okay, cool. And then when he was like, no, I don't want anything, I was like, okay, sick, cool. Like, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I was like,
The one thing I struggle with sometimes is like I've had guys reach out to me before, say, hey, I'd love to catch up with you. And I'm like, sweet, yeah, I'm actually free this day.
no reply.
No reply. I'm like, so what was the point?
Yeah,
What was your intention there? Did you actually want to catch up with me or no? Because I'm giving you a time and date and I'm getting nothing back from you.
Yeah, but see, I've had this with females too. And you know what? This goes to all you little pelicans out there. If you're going to be doing this kind of business, stop doing it right now because you're messing with my things. You know, like I'm very time efficient and like if I tell someone I'm going to be there, if I'm like, hey, let's catch up, I genuinely will want to catch up and I'll try and make a date.
Yeah.
Don't then muck me around like, oh, bro, I'm too busy. If anyone tells me they're too busy, I'm like, mate, I'm like, you don't even understand what time management is. Do never like
that say that they're too busy when you know they're not too busy.
Yeah.
Oh, that annoys
But
the
like
fuck out of me.
no one is too busy to make time. Like
No.
if you genuinely like 5-minute coffee or half an hour coffee is not taking that much time
Unless
any
you
day.
work 24-hour shifts 7 days a week, you're not busy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're not
like-
that fucking busy. Like, chill.
You're not running a massive like multi-billion-dollar CEO company where you get like 2 hours sleep.
You're a casual at fucking coffee club. Like, come on.
yeah. It's like, for fuck's sake.
I think people just these days need to make more time for each other.
Yeah.
More time, more effort, back yourself, be honest, sort of thing. Be
hard on your
kind.
sleeve.
Because at the end of the day, like the easiest thing is to be kind and to be honest. Because if you're honest and someone gets mad at you for it, you're like, I literally did the best I could do. And I was honest. I didn't lie to you, didn't fake it, da da da.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Be honest, be kind, and freaking follow up on your dates.
So Edie,
Hello.
So, Edie. What are your intentions here?
How's
your dating life been since that it's kind of like come to like now that you've when did you split up with your partner?
3 months ago. 3 months ago.
And then how's that period been?
It's been
Fucking lay into it, Jesse. Heckle.
It's literally been a whirlwind because like I said, I feel like so much has changed in the last 3 years. That was my first serious relationship as well. Like I've dated before, but that was my first serious relationship. So can I get a top up on my wine, please, before I dive
This
into
conversation is
this
stressing
Is
me
there
out.
any more one? Let's do it.
one? No.
One
But
splash.
yeah, it's
BRB.
been confronting, I would say, if anything. Just in terms of I don't really know how to approach the dating world, but I do know for a fact that I do not want to jump into anything. I'm as I've said multiple times and rubbed it in your face, I'm only 23 years old. So I've kind of just realised that, I mean, you can be in the peak of your life whenever you choose to be in the peak of your life. So many people are like, oh, like you're in the peak of your life. I'm like, yeah, but you could be in the peak of your life in your 30s, 40s, 50s. It's when you choose that you want to be because life is what you make it. But I've just realised that a relationship, especially a serious relationship, is not for me.
How much we got left in?
Trying to be serious while Mads is pouring a glass of wine is very hard.
Where's your leg? Chuck them over here. I don't know how much is left.
Just wing it.
What's going on here?
Oh, God. I'm going to get
No,
the
I reckon
dregs.
we got this.
I'm getting the dregs.
We're doing this.
I'm probably the one that needs the least amount of wine here.
Chucking this up here.
No, you've got, that's yours now.
Yep, we're on.
It's like dropping.
But yeah, that's what I was kind of alluding to because I was like, well, we've both come from very, single lives, and we've been single for quite some time.
Yeah.
And you did
Facts.
mention that you were like, oh, it's kind of different now. So what was so different about it that, like, from when you were single before your long-term relationship?
I feel like I can't even remember.
She was a child back then.
I just feel like it was easier to, I don't know, go out on dates and stuff. I felt like I met up with people a lot easier. But like I said, what I've been struggling with lately is guys will say, hey, we should catch up. And I'm like, yeah, sick, that would be great. And then nothing come of it. And and nothing is as organic because I found before I was in a relationship, you know how you can like people's stories, not react, but you can like. I get guys liking my story and I'm like, what do you want to come of that? Like, do you want me to message you? Are you going to message me? Is this your way of flirting? It's just, it's a whole new world for me.
I think though it's not necessarily, well, look, if you want to get real deep, this
let me know.
Because there's like whole levels to this shit, right? Like if you really want to if you want to go right to the core of it would be that Instagram has created this platform where it's starting to make people do certain things, and then it's allowing other people who are receiving it to start thinking that there's other things, like there's like a deeper thing going on when maybe that's not the reality of it. Like liking someone's story is giving people like false pretense that there's like flirting or something going on. And that's all literally social media has done now. It's like you send an emoji, you like someone's photo, you follow them on Instagram, you do this. It's like we've like built this like narrative that there's all these different levels to like flirting and like building relationships and trying to get people out on dates and stuff, where now people are so scared that if you literally hit someone up in the street, they're like, "Oh, he's fucking like, what are you trying?" Like, you know what I mean? Like,
too much, mate. Too much.
Yeah.
So it's like, please get my at
Like
me.
my story first, then ignore me, then hit me up.
Yeah. And like
it's intense. Like the dating world is intense.
But like
I don't know if I like it.
And like on a more deeper level of that is that there's all this like guys because they're not comfortable within themselves and they have their own personal securities that they're
Insecurities.
They
have their own personal securities and their banks are holding onto their money really tight.
They got security guards following them around the house.
Yeah, like their insecurities that they're not owning, like they're not just being genuine and authentic, and then they're following the narrative of like ghosting chicks and like, and it happens on the other end as well. I'm not just saying, I'm just speaking
like
from a
versa.
guy's perspective.
Yeah.
That a lot of, and then I think that a lot of the younger generation have caught this narrative and they're just running with it because that's like the cool thing to do. It's like the old saying of like treat 'em mean, keep 'em keen.
Yeah.
And it's now turned from like where it used to be treat 'em mean, keep 'em keen in a like a verbal sense and physical sense of like when you're interacting on a
like bullying.
Yeah.
but now
teasing,
it's gone onto social media and now that's become the treat 'em mean, keep 'em keen kind of thing.
Ignore her, keep her keen. If you ignore me, I'm out. No,
Yeah.
I'm done.
I just feel
You're
like
done.
we're also like we're old enough now to be like, if you don't have the time for me, then don't bother.
Yeah.
Like, and that's how I kind of am just like, if you can't invest what I would invest in you, then I don't want you as a friend, as a partner, as anything. Because I'm so sick of like one-way street relationships. Like that's how I genuinely feel now.
And friendships.
Like friendships and relationships, if they're just very one way, that I slowly kind of start stepping back because I'm like, for me, if you can't, and I'm just sick of giving people time that wouldn't give you the time of day. Yeah. So I think like, and that's relationships and friendships. You just
because time is valuable at the end of the day, and like when people aren't respecting your time, you're already starting off on the wrong foot.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think people need to start being a bit more.
Just go up to the hot girl,
just
go up to the fire guy at the fruit shop, and just talk to him.
Like, as well, like I agree with what you're saying because throughout the breakup, you think when you go through a breakup or a traumatic thing, the people who are meant to be there for you, they're not. The people that you would hope were there for you, they weren't for me. And I could probably literally count on one hand the amount of people that were there for me through it. Mads, you being one of them, obviously. Imagine if I was like, Maddie wasn't there for me. And Jessie. Jessie's here for me as well. My new best friend. But
okay, Erica, shut up.
Erica. But it is like at the end of the day, I don't know. If you weren't there for me, what is it? If you're not there for me at my diddliest, you can't have me at my doodliest.
No, you would do that.
No, I fully agree. You get to a point, you get to an age where you're like, if you genuinely aren't there for me when I need you the most, then I can't really be there for me be there for you when you need me sort
Yeah.
of thing. Not burning bridges, but I've always been, well, as of lately, been the person to take myself out of a toxic situation, toxic friendship, toxic relationships.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you need to look after yourself. You really need to look after your head, your heart, because if you don't love yourself and you're not looking after yourself, it's all downhill.
Yeah.
If you invest so much time and effort into other people, it just eats away at you sort of thing.
Yeah.
So you've got to be very selective with who you spend your time with, who you invest in sort of thing.
Yeah. I think it's with age as well. Like you would have found as well, like you start
Yeah.
kind of realizing who's there and who's not there.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the end of the when people say at the end of the day, I don't.
At the
For
end of the
some
day,
reason, I've
no.
noticed it. At the end of the day,
That is my favourite thing to say. If I had $1 for every time I said that,
Right?
I wouldn't
End of the
even
day.
be here right now.
I've had conversations, like drunk conversations with people, and it's like every second word. At the end of the day,
But it's 2 a.m. Yeah. But at the end of the day.
you're-
The end of the day ended 2 hours ago.
at the end of the day, at the start of the morning, we are. But yeah,
The end of the day is when the club lights come on.
That's the end of the day.
that's not a fun time.
No.
That's not a fun. Like
Oh,
you're in
we
this
all
like,
been
you're like,
there.
oh, I'm feeling like
And then the
feeling
lights
in the mood.
come
It's
on.
like,
The ugly
boom,
lights
and
come
you're
on
just
and you're like,
You feel disgusting.
you start doing these ones, like the squint with the try and block the light. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
That's why you always have sunnies on in the nightclub.
Always.
Smart.
I do
always.
have my sesh sunnies on me most
Sesh-
times. You got it.
But there is something to be said about cutting toxic people out of your life, and it means that you as a person are comfortable, like truly comfortable within yourself to have the confidence to be like, you know what, I don't need these people around me anymore. And it's if you like, you are a product of your environment, so if you can be like more proactive in cutting these type of people out of your life, and then you will naturally start giving off positive energy and surrounding yourself with people that genuinely want to be around you, and good things will come. And I've noticed that it's happened to me, like after going through breakups and stuff. I was like, oh, well, at the end of the day, you've only got yourself, really.
Yeah.
But when you truly become comfortable with who you are as a person, for some reason, you start vibrating and giving off. This is real spiritual.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
agree.
you start giving off these, like you
Yeah.
saw me when I was like
Down.
not in a good spot, and
Yeah.
like it's not a fun place to be, and
No.
you know you can't be around other people, but you're trying to like force yourself into these social
Yeah.
situations.
Especially when you see someone that has like, someone that has a spark and then they've lost the spark. I think that's like your biggest kind of like punch in your face. Like you're like, fuck, like I want to give that person their spark back, but nobody can give their spark except them. Like they slowly built it. But I think that's the best part. And I suppose even with like with us and the podcast and the people that have like supported us in this as well, it's kind of like we're both very comfortable in, because of the shit that we've had to go through and we'll continue to go through. I think we're very comfortable in our skin, and as are you, Jessie. Like we're so comfortable who we are as people and as creative people that we can come on a podcast and start something and kind of are comfortable enough to be like, people are going to hate it. And that's okay because we're comfortable enough in what we are and what we're producing that we don't really give a fuck what your opinion is.
Yeah. like when those two guys said, oh, it's a bit cringy, I'm like, well, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to lose sleep over
Like,
this.
thanks for your opinion, but I don't really give a fuck because we're pretty happy with what we do and we're pretty confident in who we are as people,
Happy
and
in
we're not
ourselves.
going to lose sleep over
But
it.
in saying that, we don't have our shit together.
Oh, no.
Like we're just raw. We're raw and real.
Yeah.
And
That's what I am. And then I'm still waiting for someone to send me like a real intense message going, what the fuck did you say? I'm like,
why did you do that?
no." Like my Joe Rogan moment where everyone just like went back and started like pulling clips from everything that I've said over the time. And I'm like,
They're
that
gonna do
actually
it.
genuinely scares me, by the way, because I'm like, not to like, I have the confidence to know that I've got something really special here, as you guys have something special. And I know that if I keep working at it and stay consistent, potentially I could make this pretty well, like pretty big.
Yeah.
And then that is one true fear of mine, is that someone's going to go back and just start pulling things out and start breaking down who I am as a person, going, he's not real, he's a scumbag.
Also, though, if that person has that much time on their hands,
Yeah.
Get a
I'm
life.
just like, I'm kind of more worried, like,
Come edit
if-
my podcast.
help him. He needs the help.
I need help.
I actually worried, like, with the amount of shit that I say, I'm kind of like, if like what Edie was saying, like, not that I'm ever thinking I'm going to go famous, but one of my biggest fears, like, if I go famous, I'm like, don't go through my Facebook. I'm like, I
Right.
don't even know, like, what
Not my
I've
2012 status.
Don't go
please.
through my statuses, don't go through my Facebook. Like, I don't know what I've posted. I don't know what I've shared. I don't know what I've liked. Like,
Well, that's
I've
the other thing. Is
always
like
had a very unfiltered life that now
people,
I'm like,
but like, and
I don't
that's-
want to offend anyone.
But people, this is the thing that I don't understand, is that people are like, we'll use Joe Rogan for example, right? Like he said some really silly things, and then people painted a picture of what he is as a person. But a lot of people haven't met him.
Yeah.
And there actually is this thing where like people that follow like massive pages on Instagram of like models or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that there's like this, I'm going to butcher the hell out of this, but they think that they know that person because they've been following them for so long. So like they're a part of their life. So they feel comfortable enough to be like berating them and saying all these hurtful things.
Yeah.
But like genuine, just a human being will say thousands of different things throughout the day. Some things might land, some things won't, and some things will probably be like, oh, you probably shouldn't have said that. Like,
taken the wrong way.
it's just it's a 24-hour cycle, you know what I mean? Like, you can't.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day,
you can only regulate some things. Like, no one's perfect, so I don't think someone should be berated for saying something way, way down the track that probably was taken out of context, or like, do you know what I mean? Like, so you weren't there.
Yeah.
There's obviously some things you can say that are dead set wrong, like wrong. Like inappropriate, wrong,
100%.
offensive.
But in terms of opinions, I've learnt to be very open-minded about things, like in terms of, like gay marriage, abortion, drugs, like all sorts of things, like things Joe Rogan speaks about. And some people look at the things he says and says, you're wrong. But in his world, he's right. And he can, that's the whole freedom of speech thing.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So I think throughout the years I've learnt to try not berate people. Like obviously I have my opinions about some people, but I've never, ever, ever been that type of person to put my opinions on social media.
Yeah.
Because once it's there, it is there. It's out there and it's there forever. Red flag. Red flag.
Don't do it.
But yeah, it is back to the whole social media thing being like a very positive or a negative thing. The whole berating someone on social media, it's shit.
Yeah.
We've had one negative person comment on our reel one time.
Really?
About charity workers.
See, I've never had any of this.
Yeah, we did.
About charity. We did a whole thing about charity workers and how you can avoid them, just like taking the piss sort of thing.
Yeah.
And someone commented and they said, why can't you just be nice?
And why can't we be just nice and say no and walk away? Us
immediately deflecting to humour. We're like, it's humour. It's humour.
No, we were just kind of like, obviously we're taking the piss, but it's like you get fucking heckled by those guys. Like it's not just sometimes it's not as easy just being like, oh no, thank you. Because then they start walking, be like, what, you don't care about the children? Like it's actually like they do start kind of walking with you and heckling you. And then simply saying, no, sorry, I'm not interested isn't enough. No. You have to punch them and run.
But I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Oh, here we fucking
He's Switzerland. He's Switzerland.
I understand where they're coming from. Like at the end of the
day,
he stopped himself.
At the start of the morning.
At the start of the morning, they're trying to achieve a job, like, and they all following a structured sales plan. So they're just trying to do their best. However, some of them are like I've gone past them like, hey, nah. I'm like, look, I'm not interested. I give enough money.
Yeah.
I give enough money.
I give enough.
No, but I try, for me personally, doing something charitable is like I might go help someone, like buy them lunch, or I might whatever they need. I don't need to post about it. I don't need to get in some like subscription fee.
You don't need to upload it to TikTok, essentially. Is what you're saying.
Yeah. I just try my best to like help everyone out.
Do a good deed.
As you do.
You shouldn't be berated for just making a bit of a laugh.
Yeah, a bit of a laugh.
A bit of a laugh.
Yeah, you know? It's just a laugh. We weren't offending. Like I didn't think we were offending anyone. We're just kind of like.
I mean, we offend everyone every day.
But people are just upset all the time, right? People like I've gone on to...
People are upset
all the time. I'm not going to comment on this too much because it's not really my place, but there was one particular article about an Aboriginal statue got put up for people out of World War I or II, I think. And I went in the comment section on Facebook stupidly, and there was just people just like going, why the hell is this happening? Rah, rah, rah. And like all this hate. And I was like, I couldn't help myself. So I got on there and I was like, why does it matter?
Yeah.
Like there's
How
two
is it
outcomes.
affecting you?
Exactly. It's like you can be happy for them and they're going to be happy and then you just go about your day.
Yeah.
Or you can be upset and be super pissed off about it and then just waste your energy and time commenting all this stuff. And nothing's going to come out of it. And the only thing that's going to come out of it is that you're pissed off and upset. Or you could just be like, you know what, that's an amazing thing. You know, they've had a pretty tough time since white people have come to Australia.
Yeah.
So how about we just let them have it? Like, let them have a win. What does it matter? You want to build fucking...
Who's it hurting?
Exactly. Yeah. It's like you want to build 100 statues for all the different ethnicities of the world, then so be it. Who cares? It's a fucking statue. It doesn't matter. Like...
In Australia, priding themselves on being so multicultural, but not like realising First Nations people.
I get really passionate about like
No,
when
that's
people
good.
get upset about things that doesn't need to affect them. Like
Yeah.
if it was like something like tax are getting raised, then by all means,
Yeah,
go
go-
for
go
gold,
ham.
like go
Yeah.
blitz. Like, but if it's just a silly statue that's not affecting you, who cares?
Yeah. Not
definitely.
affecting you anyway. It's just like why are you creating such a huge deal? No, and I feel like for like we were just taking the piss. We were kind of like, oh, it's just a bit of fun. But like for something like that, I'm just like, that doesn't affect me in any way whatsoever. So why on earth would I? If anything, it's probably about fucking time they do something. Like it's about time they put a fucking statue up because it's the least they can do after like Australians history. Like
Literally the bare minimum.
it's the bare minimum that they can do,
When they-
and people still cause such an issue. And it's like, chill the fuck out. This is not affecting you in any way. And I bet they don't even live where the fucking statue is being put up. Like I bet they're not even anywhere near it.
No.
It's like it's just
because it's being
so
blasted in their face.
Yes, 'cause
and
they're like-
keyboard cowards, like everyone hides
100%.
behind the keyboard. And then, you know, if I always think, would you say this in real life?
Yeah,
Like, would you actually approach these people and actually say it?
yeah.
My dad always told me that opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one and they usually are shit or have shit in them. And it's so true. But
Deep.
it's so funny, like how ironic some people's opinions can be because, for example, we won't get too into it, but COVID vaccinations, people are like, I don't want to put something in my body. And on the other hand of that, people are like, well, we need to do this sort of thing. The lefts just want to be heard, the rights just want to be heard, but the lefts don't want to hear the rights and the rights don't want to hear the lefts. And I'm like, we're just going in circles here.
Yeah.
You want to be heard, so hear the other person, and in turn, they will hear you.
It's just they shouldn't.
I've cracked the code.
It's just mainstream media.
I
Like
know.
Yeah.
they just like to create divide, and then look, if you want to get the bloody vaccination, get the vaccination. If you don't want to get it, then don't get it. But the government shouldn't be going, right, we are making this a thing.
I
Yeah.
know,
and if
that
you
was
don't-
that was a bit rough.
And then, like all things, because they can't keep it up, is that it just starts to fade off. And they're like, actually, now we're just going to lower the restrictions and lower the restrictions and lower the restrictions. So I'm like, before you were ramping their restrictions up and fucking making everyone's life hell,
Yeah.
and now you're lowering the
It was
restrictions.
just panic.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it
I'm
was
like-
panic. I think they thought this is getting out of hand. We have to do something now. And now that the dust has settled, they're like, kidding.
Yeah,
We're
right. It's
just
like,
kidding.
yeah, it's like, oh, we'll just sweep that under the
We're
rug,
just
like that
kidding.
never happened. We'll just run the country into the ground, and then all be like, sorry.
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 I just can't believe the amount of people though, like about like with COVID that were like, oh, I'm not like I can't be near you if you're not vaccinated. I'm like,
We're probably
I
gonna get
just-
flagged for this.
I don't get it.
Let's get flagged.
I don't fucking get it. I'm just like, you want to get it. You don't. Who fucking cares?
Or
I'm still
people-
going to go and sit there and have a coffee with you at the cafe. Like, it does not bother me that much.
People who would be like, oh, I don't want to put something in my body that I don't know. I'm like, baby,
And then they're
I've
like-
literally seen you rack up on the toilets at Soul Bar and you don't know what you're putting in your body sort of thing.
Only chlamydia.
I just think
Only
if
chlamydia.
you should. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. If you want to
100%,
get it,
that's
then
what
get
I
it.
am
If you
saying.
don't, if you didn't feel safe and you didn't want your friends to come around because they didn't have it, then by all means, you're entitled to your
You're
own.
entitled to your
that is
It's
opinion.
a
your-
free country.
Yeah,
It
and
really
if you
is.
didn't want to get it, then
Don't get it.
don't get it.
It's
I just,
it doesn't
it's that
bother me
simple.
either way.
It's that simple. It's like
I think you're free to have an opinion. Don't ever force anything on anyone sort of thing. Don't ever. It's like religion,
Yeah.
you know?
yeah, we're not
You've-
going into that.
No.
That's important.
It's like religion. At the end of the day,
At the start of the morning.
At the start of the morning, never talk about religion, COVID vaccinations, or work with children, apparently. So.
yeah.
No.
We're working with children. Red flag.
But yeah, I feel like those topics. I always always laugh at myself. Actually, I cry after these conversations because I think about like some of the things that I say, or like going back when I edit them, I'm like, wow, I really went ham. So like on the episode with Rob, I was talking about the government.
You ripped in.
And yeah,
And you're like, I can't upload that.
yeah. Oh no, I uploaded it,
Oh.
but I never edit anything out
Yep.
apart from like little stuff. But then Mitch, my mate, who he helps with all this, some of the other stuff, he like listens to every episode. He's like, yeah, you really went ham on the government.
you went-
there. He's like,
yeah,
you
pretty
really, because I didn't realize you had such
Passionate.
strong opinions about the government. I was like, yeah, yep. I was like,
Yep,
probably
yep.
should just roll that one back. Like what we were just chatting about then. I'm like, man, someone's gonna listen to that and be like,
Offended.
fuck
Flag
you.
it.
But again, it's like,
But
can't please everyone.
the way I see life, and this is true, like you just live your life the way you can, like the best you can, and try
stay
not
in your lane.
stay in your lane and just be polite to everyone and try and make someone else's day better.
Yeah.
Like there's no need, if your opinion's coming across negative and it's not constructive,
Yeah.
keep your mouth shut.
Keep
Yeah.
your fucking mouth shut. You got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all.
You
Like-
also need to remember at the end of the day,
At the start of the morning,
at the start of the morning,
Come on.
We
Oh my
need to have
God.
more wine, and every time we say at the end of the day, we need to drink.
That's next episode.
No.
At the
it's
start
fuck-eyed.
of the morning, when you do die, because it's inevitable. What's inevitable? Taxes and death. When you die, people will remember you for how you made them feel, not for what you did or like, you know, how you made someone feel. Oh yeah, they don't say, oh yeah, they made heaps of money and they, you know, had like great opinions and they got the COVID vaccination. Da, da. No, they'll be like, no, they made me feel real good. They were funny. They were nice.
Yeah.
They made me laugh. They made me feel valued. Da 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 da. You will always be remembered for how you made people feel.
Yeah.
So
Facts.
it's the easiest thing is just to be nice. Just be nice.
Fucking nice.
Well, there you
Just
go.
be nice and follow up on
That's
dates.
deep. At the end of the day,
Well,
listen to Edie's advice.
at the end of the day and the start of the morning, no, we have come to the end of the podcast because we have been going for quite some time.
You are welcome.
I haven't done a long podcast like this in a long time, but haha, double long.
Sucks for you.
We're here to stay.
But thank you so much for coming on the podcast. But before we get out of here, there's a couple of things we like to do.
Oh.
You get to shout out a local legend who you believe should come on the show and tell their story. And the second thing is you get to give advice to someone who you think needs a bit of a kick in the ass to start their project. It doesn't have to be one of your friends. I just mean like something that you may have been given from someone that inspired you to start your podcast.
Shit. Fuck. Damn, we were so not prepared for
A
this.
local legend.
Maybe even like, oh, wait, a local legend and somebody to kickstart. No, hang on.
No. Let me
Can you
try this.
repeat the
Start again.
3 people or 2 people?
No. So you get to shout out a local legend
Yep.
who you think should come on the show.
Yep.
And then secondly, you get to give it a piece of advice to an imaginary person
Yep.
who you think that might help them start their project.
Ooh.
I'm going to give a quick shout out to my friend Liv Williams. She's actually does a lot of work up here in Noosa. Her photography is Rare Visuals. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of them.
No.
Her, really. And she's just one of the funniest people I've ever met, and she's a sensational photographer. So shout out to her. She should come on here and share her wisdom. And then someone who I think should kickstart a project.
Yeah, like if someone's like, hey, like what your mum did. Your mum sat you both down and she was like, hey, you really should start this fucking project.
Well,
Yeah.
Lee.
Shout out to Mum.
I'm going to take that one. Lee McCarthy.
Yeah, so like something that some advice you may have been given.
Yeah, well, she. Fucks me, hey. Yeah, shout out to Mum, I suppose. Like,
Yeah.
she's already started her stuff. Like, she's a real estate agent, and she has started it. But also, I just want to give her like a huge kudos because like my mum has done real estate for 10 years, but she did it in Toowoomba for 10 years. So coming up here, she decided that she was not going to work for anyone else. She's going to work for herself, and she bit the bullet and she did it by herself. And she's killing it. Like, she's doing really well, but it's hard. Like, she came in just as kind of COVID kicked off, so that would have been really, really hard. And then obviously every man and their dog decided to become a real estate agent as well. So I actually just think my mum is a huge inspiration to me for sure, because she's just a bad bitch. Like, she's a bad bitch that like believes in herself, and she'll go and she'll grab something when it pops up. And I think like even the starting of her own business, she went in a time that probably wasn't a great time to start, but she did it anyway, and she held her head high. And my mum is a fucking baddie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
shout
Shout out to your mum.
out to my mum.
Lee McCarthy. You're
Shout out
the
to my
best.
mum at McCarthy & Co Property.
I'm going to piggyback off that one and say Lee. Lee McCarthy.
Done. There we go.
a double whammy. I think the only other local legend I could probably shout out is like our producer at On Track Studios, Sophie. So she's just again another absolute baddie, and she
I love that
runs this she runs this studio who we go to, and that's where we recruit where we record our episodes. And she's just an awesome support. Like, she supports us on everything on our socials when we get to the studio.
Yeah,
like
she's so good.
And it's her business. And so I think that like she runs it from Nambour. She's got an awesome like I don't know. She's got an awesome crew that's with her in terms of like all the people that are rolling through and recording podcasts. And I think it's like because it's on the same page as what we do. Shout out to her because she's a bad bitch and a bad bitch boss energy.
Sophie at On Track
Done.
Studios.
At On Track
There you
Studios.
go.
Yeah.
Well, team, it's come to the end of the episode. Thank you all so much for listening. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your grandma about it. And you know what to do. Hang around for the next one.
You. Bye.